Hello. It's better when the mic is on. And how are you, everyone? Hope everybody's all right. This is another live show. Let's try to position this differently here. Oh, like this. And there we go. And welcome aboard from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I've was setting up different radios that are going to be used for this show. I've got the H501X. I've got the ATS-25 here, and I've got the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery on the laptop here. So all of that will be running, and I'll be tuning the bands with that. And the main computer that is using usually the SDR Play device is going to be the streaming computer today. So if everybody is all right, and that you guys are going to enjoy today's show. And let me check out here if everything is all right. Seems like it is. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move this here. And we are ready for some radio fun. Okay, so welcome aboard, everybody. This is the Shortwave Radio Live Show. We are here twice a week, usually. Now, we've not had the Wednesday show 2 times in a row because of things that are out of my control that happened, including this Wednesday. But that technically, if all goes well, should be done, finished, and okay now. Let me just take something here. Take the iPad so I can check out email. So nice to have everybody here. So my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. And we are, of course, here to talk about radio, share, and have fun with radio, actually. It's really, really cool. We are, of course, doing live shows to promote and have fun with shortwave radio and radio in general. A lot of people say radio's dead. It's not. It's not. It's definitely different from 30 years ago, but it definitely still has its challenges. It definitely still has a lot of the fun of everything radio, for sure. So join in if you're new to the hobby or you're wondering what's that. What is shortwave radio? What do you guys do? What are you geeks doing with a live show like this? Well, we listen to the radio and listen to international broadcasts, utility signals of all sorts, number stations, spy number stations from, some countries. We have amateur radio fun also. Tons of things, pirate radio, which is also a lot of fun to dabble with and have a good time. And we tune the bands, we answer questions. There's a lot of newbies here that just start out and are curious and trying to learn the ropes. And there's, of course, seasoned veterans that have been doing this for decades and are here because they're having fun with radio. And we're a great bunch of people, actually. So hope that everybody will enjoy today's show and be here to just tune in, try to listen to the signals we hear. There's a beautiful chat room with wonderful people that are interacting together, and this is a great place for that because that's where we you can learn. You can ask questions if you're new or even if you're not new. And sometimes you have a new radio, you have something that you want to play with and have questions on whatever device. Sometimes, you just don't know what to tune. So, we're here to have fun with all of that. And of course, the chat room is great because it feels like there's people here. It's not that little hobby that you're alone in your, basement or your radio room of some sort. And you're welcome whether you have a $20 radio or a $1,000 radio or a $10,000 radio. Everybody here is respectful, and we all respect everybody. And whatever equipment you have is great. As long, all we want is for you to listen to the radio, actually. And there was a comment this week. It reminds me of that comment that I saw on the channel, which the guy said, "I don't have a shortwave radio. I don't have much, but I have fun with an old GE clock radio to tune the AM band and listen at night to distant AM stations." Well, it's a radio, whatever clock radio you've got, whatever it is, it's a radio. And that's the important thing, is that you listen to stations and having fun with, listening into stations from far away on a clock radio. It's cool. It's cool. It's something interesting to do also. A lot of these old clock radios that, I still have one here. I have to take it out and show you guys. It still works. And it was a GE, actually, I think. And that was my first clock radio when I had my first job and had to get up in the morning to go to work. And I mean, those radios have decent receivers. The radios inside them are actually quite good. And they're a lot of fun. And why not join and have fun with that? And of course, when this is over, when the party's over, as they say, well, there's the Facebook group that you can join. Same name as the channel here, official SWL channel. And that is where you can continue having fun, sharing what you're listening to, pictures of your shack, radios, answer questions or ask questions. And, it's a community of great people, more than 2,000 subscribers right now. And great people that, interact with each other and have fun with what their hobby of radio listening and listening to distant stations. And we share a lot of information there too. So welcome aboard today, Saturday, October 23rd, 2021. Next week, Saturday of next week, is going to be the Halloween show. I'm not doing it on Halloween night, which is Sunday. I'll be doing it on Halloween's Eve, if you want, October 30th. So next Saturday, expect mysterious moments, ghosts and wolves and vampires and bats and all sorts of things can happen. So I hope that you join in for that Halloween show next Saturday, where we will also be checking out pirates. I mean, Halloween night is going to be interesting to monitor for pirates, but Saturday night is going to be interesting to monitor also for some pirates too, I think. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And of course, we should be back to the regular schedules of Wednesday and Saturday for the show. So hope that everybody is going to be joining in and having fun with that. As we tend to have a lot of fun with radio and discussions of all sorts. Drink, as usual, my official drink, which is vodka cranberry juice. So cheers, everybody. And like I said, radios of choice today. HF, AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, Texan H501X, and ATS-25. 3 radios that are all connected thanks to a Streetsburg Engineering multi-coupler, which lets me plug in up to 4 radios sharing one antenna. And the antenna that I use is outside on the balcony in the front. It's the MLA30. I've got a loop that I have to install, and actually I totally forgot this week, and I was kind of busy. But I was looking at it like 10 minutes ago, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to install that new loop, and I'll make videos of it. I purchased some cables because I have a interesting idea of trying to install it down in the backyard on the fence. But for that to work, I need to have a long length of wire. So I purchased 50 feet of RG6 or RG8, I don't remember, with BNC connectors on each end because this is what will be connecting the loop. It's powered, so I'll be powering it actually with the W6 LVP has 12-volt bias T, and that requires 12 volts. So I'm going to actually power it with the same adapter as I'm using the W6 LVP. And so, all I'll do is just switch cables when I switch the antennas. And so I need to buy some stuff to actually put it up. So for that to work, I need to have some. I'm checking how I'm gonna set it up and maybe buy. I don't know, maybe a broomstick and a couple of things, anyways, to set it up. And I think it's gonna be fun. So I purchased enough cable that I could actually even drive it up to my office here when I need to test out. And I'll be probably passing the wire by the ceiling so that it doesn't, interfere with anything. So, anyways, project for probably this week. We'll try to install that as soon as possible and test it out and have fun actually with it. So, of course, videos will be coming up showing you all of that. I am extremely curious of an antenna in the backyard because the the few times that I have actually been doing the backyard, going down in the backyard with radios, I am surprised at how well reception is. It actually seems to be less noisy and that down near the grass or near the yard than it is up here on the third floor for some reason. So that'd be interesting to test, and maybe a loop could be kind of interesting in that lower noise environment. Maybe who knows, could DX stuff that I can't right now. If that would work, then I would probably rethink all of my antennas. And of course, that's also going to be something to think about for the purpose of putting up my first amateur radio dedicated antenna when I get my license also. So these are all little things happening right now. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Apart from that, if you're a CIDX member, Jim Hay, which was a CIDX member that I met a few times at the CIDX barbecue also, has sadly passed away last evening. So unfortunately, the dreaded cancer that won, and that kind of is a sad moment there. So he was Canadian International DX Club member, and he had a lot of he would do a lot of amateur radio activity stuff, and I think he was even a radio amateur examiner at one point. So sadly, Jim passed away yesterday, late afternoon. It was like, I think it was 4 or 5 p.m., something like that. So one less member of CIDX, and it's sad to see that he's passed away. He was a great guy and very always there to help and want to be there for everybody. What else do we have? 20-meter band. I'm tuning 20 meters right now. Lots of signals, actually. I'm my SDR's on 14210. There's another one that I'm tuning with the H501X, which is on 14185. And I got the ATS25 on 15 megahertz WWV. I tried all the frequencies today for WWV. 25 is not coming in, but I heard 20 was coming in about half an hour ago. So I got 20 and 15 megahertz. So propagation seems nice as I look into the different signals and stuff here. So I hope that everybody's going to enjoy the show today, and that you will be having fun with your radios. So we have Brad. Nice to have you on board. Kevin, nice to have you here. W2H. from New Jersey. Heard wave scan at 13 UTC today. Surprised it was such a good signal on 15770. Wish the host in Australia would get a filter in his mic. The other thing I hear often when the Australian DX report is playing is cell phone always interfering with is recording. You could hear the data stream from the cell phone buzzing through his microphone. It's kind of funny. Matt, nice to have you here. MDK2 from Denver, Colorado. Nick Amendold, nice to have you here from Romania. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here from Louisiana. WA5107SWL is the shortwave call sign. Glenn, nice to have you here from Milwaukee. KB9IN. We have Andy Cully, nice to have you here. We have Glenn, nice to have you here. We have, let's continue the list here. We have Dave from Indianapolis. Randall Klontz, nice to have you here from Chicago. Dwayne, nice to have you here. Mike Dovis from good old Minneapolis. Dave is getting some slow scan television on 15230. That's cool. Lots of fun that when there's activity there. Richard says, hello from Albany, New York. Well, came home from the hospital on Tuesday and was met with the tram 1411 and an ATS 25. Delivered much earlier than promised. Cool. Gonna have fun with all of that. We have Robert Cross. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Dave is asking, what are the things that we've heard lately that were interesting? We have Rob. Nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. 79 Fahrenheit. That's not bad. Good weather for outside radio. M1 MBZ. Nice to have you here. Currently tuned to China Radio International on 7385 Albanian service, which is currently playing music until 1957 UTC. So that ended just 20 minutes ago. Nice to have you here from the UK. We have Andy New. Nice to have you on board from the UK. MAH3007SWL. Rufus, nice to have you here from the Laurentian Valley, Ontario. It is cool here too. It's what is it? It's 8 degrees Celsius right now. And we're going to drop close to 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius tonight. So possible frost for the first time, which is usually the time we start getting that. It's interesting how the weather changes over the last few decades. Definitely warmer in the earlier in the spring, and warmer later in the fall. And I mean, we had a pretty warm October, and that followed a very warm September. So we've had some really good weather here, but now it's getting chilly. Dwight, nice to have you here from coastal Virginia. Charles Williams, nice to have you here from San Diego. PLF Radio, bonjour. J'espère que ça va bien depuis Lyon en France. C'est toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. Et j'espère que tout va bien dans ton coin du monde. So nice to have you here from France. Shortwave listener, M6CIH from UK. And it's kind of cool there, 10 Celsius tonight. We have Dave, which he's hearing Parks on the Air, Station Ham from Texas on 14325 upper sideband. David, KJ4CMY, nice to have you here from beautiful Central Georgia. Cygnus Rider, nice to have you here from Rochester, New York. Nice to have you here, Joe. WA2092SWL. John Ritson, nice to have you here. 2E0JGR. K6YYL. Kimberly, nice to have you here from California. And it's a drizzly Southern California. I love this weather. Yeah, and you guys have had some really severe droughts So I'm sure anything that is rain is welcome. VT Radio, Paul, nice to have you here from Northern Vermont, AA1SU. We have Christian Marcoux. Salut, j'espère que tu vas bien from North Bay, Ontario. Charlie, WACFO from Columbus, Ohio. Mark Lindsay White, nice to have you on board from Brussels. We have Neil from the UK. Nice to have you on board. Mark Lindsay White says, been shortwave listening for 52 years. Matt just had a contact with Alaska on FT8 10 meters. That's cool. That's not. That's one of those states that doesn't have that much activity. So when you can actually get Alaska, it's a pretty nice thing. I would have heard from Alaska. I'm trying to figure out if I've heard a ham from Alaska at one time. I'm not sure I've heard Alaska on the amateur bands. I've heard pretty much the only signal, the only two signals I've heard from Alaska pretty much are the HARP when they were doing their tests, but also a couple of times very weak KNLS out of Anchor Point, Alaska. That also was something that I've received a few times in the past, but it's always a tough one because they're broadcasting towards Asia. So they're actually sending their signal opposite to my location. So getting KNLS is very tough. And I've been trying some of the utility stuff that is in Alaska, but I've never been able to pick up any of those, which are, low powered. Maybe someday I need to continue trying, but, Alaska is a tough one. I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure actually if yes or no I've heard hams from Alaska. I might have, but I'm not sure. I need to jot down all the the states and the countries I hear stuff so that I can quickly go to a list and say, oh yeah, I've heard Alaska in that year or that month or whatever. But definitely cool. Definitely cool. Hi, Brawler. Nice to have you on board from Northeast Arkansas. On Monday, received a Stexon PL 330. It is really a great radio for its size and price. Absolutely. I am amazed at what Texan was able to do with that little radio. And, it seems, it's small and everything. So it's sometimes a little scary because you're like, well, small radios, sometimes the sound isn't great or actually everything is very, very good on that radio, and the audio's nice, not too it's not like if I would compare the audio, I would compare it with the C-Crane Skywave SSB, which has a tiny speaker. The audio on the 330 is way better than the one on the Skywave, honestly. And you make me think I need to compare these two. I'm not sure I've compared the 330 and the CC Skywave SSB together. I need to. That'll be the videos coming up in the next few days. John Beckham says shortwave radio will always have a mystique as to it as being both very fascinating and mysterious regarding what you might pick up. Absolutely. Dean Hintz, nice to have you here, Dean. Andy New in Bristol, MAH3007 SWL. What do we have? Eric Cottrell, bonjour, hi, nice to have you on board. Nice day today, updating the modules in his car. Cool. Seem to have a lot of fun with your electric car. That's nice. Really cool. You can consider when you buy a car that's kind of a big expensive toy at the same time. It's not just your way of travel, but it's also kind of it's like buying a radio. There's some fun to it in a new car. Funny thing is, I hate the new car smell. Makes me want to puke for some reason. But new cars are absolutely beautiful, of course. Randall, when you had your sloper, how did you ground it? Both ends? So my sloper was all simply put to the 9-1 balun. So it ended in a simply ended with the at one end with the a broomstick, a wooden broomstick at the corner of the the yard, and the box where that entered, which was with the 9-1 balun in it, was in that was the box itself was grounded, and that's pretty much it. Then the coax which came inside. Good radio. Too early right now to get medium wave stations from far away. Yeah, it's still light outside. It's still going to be the sun sets around 6, somewhere around 6 p.m., just before 6 p.m. So we still have a good hour and a half almost of light here of sun. So there's no really no de-axing from far away right now for your medium wave stations. RJDA Dakota checking in. Nice to have you on board. John Beckham says, say hello to Paul and his girlfriend, and I am thinking of adopting an 8-year-old female tabby named Gracie. Cool, why not? If that could be a nice thing. You know, old cats have a hard time getting adopted. People want to have those little kittens, you know, and often old cats are put to sleep, unfortunately, because people just won't want to have them. So why not? It's that would be a good gesture, and I would be the kind of guy to do that. You know, it's like, oh, that. I remember going to a shelter here a couple of years ago, and I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking because there was a cat that the owner just couldn't take care anymore, and the cat was like 11 years old. And I looked at the cat, and I'm like, oh man, poor cat. You know, who's gonna want to have an 11-year-old cat? And the other thing I was thinking is, poor cat, if he's been at the same place for 10, 11 years, probably all messed up, not understanding what's happening. Why am I in a cage and everything? You know, it's so sad. Keegan, nice to have you on board. XN80Xer from Northwest Arkansas. Reception today with his Ethon Grundig Edition Field BT radio. Gary, 24 fan, nice to have you on board. And well, happy to do it. It's fun, a lot of fun. Arthur's Other Crafter's Kitchen, nice to have you on board from Massachusetts. Just got my COVID booster shot. Looking forward to some good listening tonight before my arm gets sore and I can't tune anymore. So cool, and making sure that you're going to stay safe. Dean, looking forward for the Halloween show. Got a few ideas of what I'm going to do, but not totally yet. So, anyways, you'll see what happens when it happens. We have, by the way, I bought some chocolate Halloween candy, and there's M&M packets that glow in the dark. So you put them, they're phosphorescent. You put them next to a light, and then when you look at them, they glow. So they have like 4 or 5 different designs on the packs. It's kind of cute. One of them is amazing. The one with there's a spider web, and it's the whole spider web that is actually I think I can show you guys. I took a picture. The one with the spider web is definitely nice. Let's check it out here. Yeah, this one. Look at that. That is the pack with the spider web. It's really, really nice. So, I like M&Ms, but when I saw the glow in the dark M&Ms, like, oh, that's cool. I want to have those. So, nice to. I want to say hello to Richard Lemke, by the way, by email. Says hello. And last weekend in Jasper, October 17, 19, had many cranberry vodkas. Cool. It's going to become the official drink here. So nice to have you here, Richard. And he says his dad got a reacher clock with alarm. Instructions mention nothing about FCC notice regarding interference that radio might cause. It got my eyes, no warning mention. Is this rare? More and more of the stuff that comes from China do not have the approbations of FCC requirements for noise and stuff. It is very, very common. The standard stuff that's made here often have the approvals and the FCC marks and everything. But a lot of what comes from China now is just goes through, and there's no checking of anything, and there's no, it's not approved, and that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of noise. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we use that comes from China that never, went through any testing. So, that is very common, absolutely, and more actually, Richard. We also have through email Elizabeth from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. And Elizabeth says that she arrived from the hospital. She spent a week and a half in the hospital because of some illness. And she said that she missed a couple of shows because of that. She says she feels a little better now, but still having some issues, some health issues. So she says that radio is an amazing way to, get your mind off of your health problems. And listening to your wonderful, beautiful voice also makes me feel good. And I want to thank you for all you do. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. And really, really, I think I can speak for everybody. We all hope that you definitely get better for sure. And it's nice to have you here. Nice to have you back. And, that's one thing. I've never been to a hospital very long in my life most of the time, but I've been maybe, I don't know, once or twice. And one of the things that you definitely feel good about is when you can go back home and be in your, in your own stuff, in your little world. So, by the way, I saw a truck outside. If I kind of just run, I'm waiting for a package, nothing radio related. I'm waiting for a package which should arrive today from Amazon. So, if I am leaving mysteriously for a moment, that's because probably the doorbell. Well, you'll hear the doorbell, I would guess, because the main doorbell thing is here in my room, in my office. So, PLF Radio, yes, I will find. I don't know what I'm gonna do or wear, but there's going to be. I'll be dressed up for the occasion in some way. I don't know yet exactly how and what, but yeah, definitely. CJ, nice to have you here. Says nice to see a stream. Pretty cool. So this is a tablet. I can put it here for a moment being. And here we go. Our JD8 Dakota, chilly outside here too. And he's having a cup of green tea later. Cool. That hot cocoa, anything warm is always welcome when it's getting cooler. I get this craze of making food when it gets cooler. It's like I want to go out and I want to cook stuff. I want to cook the stuff that takes like, a couple of hours to cook in the oven, stuff like that. And in soup, I like a lot. I usually, when it gets cool like this, one of the first things I want to do is my pea soup recipe in the crock pot, which is always nice. And you prepare that in the evening, and you wake up in the morning, it smells good in the house, and it's just so delicious. Matt says, I think most Halloween Sunday pirate activity will happen during daylight hours and be reported mostly by Eastern listeners. I hope I'm wrong, but that's been the pattern in recent years. Yeah, there's a change in all of this because it used to be that Halloween evening was like so amazing for pirates. And in recent years, it wasn't necessarily Halloween day that had the most pirates. And of course, when Halloween falls is also an important thing. When Halloween falls on a weekday, there tends to be less pirates than if it falls on a Saturday or a Sunday. So hopefully this year, let's cross our fingers, there'll be a lot of them. We'll see that next week. Um, what else do we have? Cleaning the fridge while she listens, says Kimberly. The fun thing of cleaning the fridge. For some reason, every time I clean my fridge, I find some food that I forgot that's somewhere in the down corner somewhere where it's like, yeah, okay, it's like growing its own ecosystem now. Glenn, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Jim from Rhode Island, nice to have you on board. Just got back from doing an amateur radio fox hunt. Cool. John Beckham, I'm waiting to receive WWVN 25 megahertz. Are you still picking it up on your ATS 25? I haven't heard 25 megahertz and pretty much since I did the video. I tried a few times, but since I did the video, 25 has not made it. Let's try it just now to see if I can by any chance have it, but oh, there's nothing on 25. And even 20 has disappeared. Well, not quite. It's there, but very weak in the background. And if I try 15, 15 is the strongest one right now. It's still quite noisy. So this is so everybody's saying rest in peace, Jim. Yep. Hope that hope that where he is, there's a lot of radio and DXing going on for sure. Khalid, nice to have you on board, Khalid. Tristan, nice to have you on board from Newfoundland. Been off shortwave radio for around 2 weeks, so what better way to jump back in? Absolutely. Northern Dawn been sick this week, but slowly getting better. Unclear. Nice to have you here. K2ADC in New Jersey. Spain on 17855 coming in this afternoon, says John Beckham. Tom DXer, WPE2QED. Nice to have you here from the Hudson Valley, New York. Stephen Wood, nice to have you on board on this cool sunny afternoon. What else do we have? PLF Radio, are you waiting for some radio-related devices? I am waiting for the CountyCom GP7 SSB, aka the CountyCom version of the Texan PL368. That I hoped that it could have arrived this week, but it didn't. I suspect that maybe it's stuck at customs. So, of course, as soon as I get that, there will be an unboxing of the CountyCom GP7 SSB and tests, of course, with the radio for sure. 7 Road Train, nice to have you on board, Rob. 2U0WGE. Jeff Williams in Southwest Cornwall, UK. We have Frank. Nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Always cool to have you here. So Frank in the Netherlands. Nice to have you here. Zen Faros following along today with the Grundig Satellite 800 and the birthday present my wife got me, the FRG7. Cool. Nice rig. Torben, nice to have you here from Norway. Always nice to have people from all around the world. It's really, really cool. Zen Faros was about to ask if I've heard harp. Yeah, we actually had for those that followed this live show for a while. When Chris Fallen was head of the harp team, we had the honor and we had the possibility of listening to the experiments, and he actually was in the chat room here, and it was a lot of fun, and we are chasing the different sweeps and signals and all sorts of things they were sending out on the different frequencies. Was definitely a lot of fun, and I missed that. It would be so much fun to have something like that again. If some of you remember, man, that was so cool to have that and have the possibility of him also at ARP in the chat room telling us in advance what frequencies they were going to use at what time, so we can actually all follow in and see if we can hear them. And he's probably very fascinated also by the fact that, seeing who is receiving all of these signals around the world. Christopher, good evening from Wales. Have you ever done a review of the New Elec SDR Ham It Up kit, and is it any good? I have not. I have almost purchased something like that a year and a half, 2 years ago, and changed my mind after looking at some of the reviews. And when you look at how what it costs, you end up thinking, well, better off getting an SDR Play RSP 1A or RSPDX for the price, because a up converter is never the best way to actually listen to radio, and you're better off with a SDR that actually does it directly from the start. So if you would have invest in something like that, a New Elec and Ham It Up's kit, I would say you'd be better off buying an RSP 1A from the SDR Play, which will work immediately out of the box really well, and no fussing, no trying to understand what's the offset frequencies and all sorts of things like that. By DXer, nice to have you on board. Windy night but dry in Hindenburg. John Hummel Newell, VE5JHN. Nice to have you on board. Been watching a lot of videos of Radio Caroline. So cool. Glenn says, shall I have a spot on my nose removed Monday? And I was told it was cancer. Yeah, these are the, I that's something that I look at all the time, because I've had my share of heart of skin burns from staying out in the sun when I was young. And there are places like that. These are the places often that it happens: the nose, the face, and any place that any skin that's always exposed to the sun are the ones that are the most dangerous for that. So it's like it's really something that we definitely got to take care of. And you have to get it treated fast and make sure that you do everything to so hope everything is going to be all right for you, my friend. By the Xer, KNLS Alaska is usually pretty loud and clear in UK, also in Eastern Europe. VT Radio says, Jill, all the state QSO parties are finally over. I worked all 45 of them and finished 10th in the world. Wow. This is so cool, Paul. Really nice. Really nice. These are fun things to do, chasing after all of that and participating in all of those QSO parties and trying to get awards, and it's always fun. It's always, the challenges are fun to go to. Chaz Tank, nice to have you on board from Louisville, Kentucky. High 61 says, adopt old cats. Yes, we have to. William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Grumpy Kitty Boy, just noticed the shirt love producing shows with CKUT years back. Cool. Yeah, this is for the fun drive, because for those that don't know, me and Sheldon Harvey are co-hosts of the International Radio Report, a show that talks about radio for 30 minutes, and it plays on CKUT on Sunday at 14:30 UTC, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So cool. I-61 is from Colorado. 6:40 a.m. The Mix. Nice to have you on board. Welcome to your first live stream. Yeah, Cuban number station, always still going strong. I-61. Absolutely. David in Barcelona, Spain. ¿Cómo está, mi amigo? Nice to have you here. EA3IEK is AM call sign, and EA4998 URE is shortwave call sign. What else do we have? William Helms, shipping address information got messed up on eBay. My Yacht Boy arrival will be delayed until they clear it up. Oh, that's so sad. Chas, be careful with all the recalls and stuff going on. Those M&Ms might make trick-or-treaters glow too. Matt says, "Oh, that's a nice note from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, hope you get well soon." And I think everybody is wishing you the best. That's for sure. What else do we have? Yeah, Eric Cottrell, Jim Hayes. Sad to seen him quite a few times at the barbecues at CIDX Barbecue in Greenfield Park. You will be missed. MDK2 says, did up our Halloween decorations last weekend. First time in a while that I've done a major one. I always wait too long, but found a way to be timely this year. Cool. Cygnus Rider, my first radio was a GE digital alarm clock from 1977. It had a fantastic tuner. Dave, Pirate on 6955. Let's check it out here. Let's go to the Air Spy HF Plus. Anything here? So I don't seem to have much. Nope, nothing at this moment here. 6955. What else do you have? Hey, Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. John Clay, nice to have you here. 6:40 a.m. The Mix says no copy of The Pirate in New York City. BT Radio says time for a thumbs up. Radio Nomad. Yeah, those like the X-Phase stuff for the QRM, the interference. I don't know how well, I'd be curious to see all of these things, how they work, and how, if I put like loops in phase or all sorts of things like that, how well I could eliminate the noise and stuff. That's definitely things to play with, for sure. Chastang, talk about cooking, baking, and radio is making me hungry. Trimbelli, Mr. Bell, nice to have you here from Portland, Oregon, and says he heard 25 megahertz yesterday. Let me just, okay, here we go. 61 says the night that my mom passed away. Also, the night a small shortwave radio stopped working. So weird. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Man. Kelly, do you enjoy old radios with an analog system? Absolutely. I like old radios. I like to play around with old radios and tuning around and in tube radios and stuff like that. VT Radio making slow roasted potatoes in the slow cooker right now. Cool. That must be real good. Charlie, Mr. Bell found a transmitter site a few miles south of Andrews Air Force Base near Washington, D.C. Looks like it may be New York HFATC. It looks a bit small for me to be New York HFATC. I don't know where they're located exactly. Yeah? That's kind of interesting. AE1TP, A92GW. Tom, nice to have you here from Bahrain. Cool to have you here. Kevin, keep reception reports in outgoing mail. The BBC is starting to shut down more language shortwave broadcasts. They announced shortwave interest is down 25% this year. Let's hope that they don't shut too much. You know, shortwave is important, and it's important to still keep up. And it's important not to just look at, you know, the interest at the moment, but also to look at how useful this could be in the future. Jace Gilbert, nice to have you here from Melbourne, Australia. Zen Farrow's got the Pirate on 6955 with is all main loop Emily 30 plus doesn't hear it. Are they oriented in the same direction? Sometimes it could be the direction. Yasu 2005. I dropped my brand new C Crane Skywave SSB from about 3 feet yesterday into the linoleum floor. Do these radios hold up to little falls pretty well? From experience, of course, the thing to remember is we need to make sure we don't drop radios too much. But from experience, I have dropped a lot of my shortwave receivers at least once. And quick story, I've got my Texan PL990X there in the back. The day I got it, you guys won't believe it, the day I got it, I dropped it on the floor twice by accident. And the first time it happened, and it was a big bang, I was like, oh, God, don't tell me that I just killed my brand new radio. And it was working fine. And the second time around, same thing, was still working fine. But it's something not to do too often, okay? They tend to be tough. But, you know, there's a limit to what they'll handle in roughness, for sure. But I've dropped couple of radios. I've dropped the ATS 909X, not the X2, the X. I was coming in from outside and totally forgot that there was a wire on the floor that my feet got tangled in. It was the antenna wire, and it actually went from the barbecue in the backyard balcony to the balcony floor in a pretty big bang with, you know, the kind of fall where the battery compartment opens and the batteries fly out everywhere. And I thought, oh man, did I just kill the radio? But the battery's back in, everything was fine. But kind of the things that you don't want to do usually. Bitcoin, nice to have you here from Vancouver Island. Oh, I hope your radio is okay. It's crazy when you drop a radio or drop any electronic device. It's like, you have that moment. It's like dropping your smartphone. You have that little moment of, oh God, I hope it still works. Trimbelli, Mr. Belga, 13710 from Northwest Madagascar, coming in strong near Portland, Oregon. Zenfaro's a copper tubing loop is a little better than the MLA30 for higher frequencies, probably because it is smaller. Huh, interesting. Simon Templar, nice to have you here. Randall Klontz, the International Radio Report on CKUT is at 14:30 UTC on Sunday. 14:30 UTC Sunday. That's 10:30 a.m. We have a YouTube channel for all the shows, by the way, and maybe it's time to just do a little plug here for those that don't know. We have. Let me just get that out so I can send you guys the link. YouTube.com/International Radio Report. So YouTube.com/ I hate it when I change my keyboard and I don't remember where the slash is. International Radio Report. I'm going to put the link in the description here. So about an hour, within the hour after the show is played on the CKUT 90.3 FM, it is posted here on our YouTube channel. Why not subscribe and listen? We have all sorts of news from all around the world and local stuff every week. It's always interesting. We have some really interesting stuff for tomorrow. Halloween and Halloween Pirates activity for next week. We've got a interesting story about the UK that has decided to push the HD radio stuff until 2030, push it back and give more time for everybody to kind of get the radios out there and make sure that everybody's ready for the change for digital. And we've got, of course, all sorts of things. We got ham radio contests and so on. So it's really a nice show to listen to. And me and Sheldon Harvey are actually doing this together right now. That show has been on since 1987 when Sheldon started that show back then. And I've joined the International Radio Report, 4 years ago? And at first it was like every 2 weeks ish. And then I decided, well, you know what? Let's be there all the time. And this has been it's been a lot of fun. And now I've with the pandemic, of course, we couldn't do it from the studio. And for a while, for a small moment, when the pandemic happened, we couldn't go to the studio. The first thing that happened is, so what do we do? We postpone the show for a while and come back when things get better. And I couldn't think about that happening. When that happened, I was like, no, the show's been on since 87. It cannot be, postponed or anything. We have to find a way. So that's where I started looking at, let's find a way to record the show from, in virtual and from a distance. And that's pretty much what happens. We meet up with Skype. And that also is a big part of why I actually invested in an audio console, because that's where you see that when your equipment is not up to par with quality, you hear all sorts of things in there, and you're like, yeah. And it was driving me nuts. And I thought, no, I want to have better audio, better sound. So, and it, of course, was also a good idea for the shortwave live shows and stuff in my videos. So it's an ongoing show every 30 minutes every Sunday, and it's a lot of information packed into 30 minutes, and with our own personal comments and outlook on the different events. So if you guys want to join the YouTube channel, please do. And within about the hour after it airs, the YouTube video is posted with the show. So Device 9 has 15185 Voice of America, supposedly in French. Yeah, they have French. They have English lessons. So they're probably doing some kind of English lesson for French-speaking audiences. So what else do we have? Chris66, nice to have you here from Kentucky. Tim, nice to have you here from Germany. Says appreciate all your videos. Thank you very much. My name reads Wang Lei or something like that. And nice to have you here from Hubei. Log 2112, nice to have you here. We have PLF Radio just got 5794, the M12 number station from Moscow, Russia. So let me just get a little more comfortable here because I'm like really undecided to chair here. So here it is better. Let's put the microphone a little higher. So let's try to catch up with all of this. We have let me just try to catch up where I am. Okay, so we have Charles Williams had a small cancer on my scalp that was cured by applying a chemo cream for 6 weeks. Hasn't come back. Catching it early is important. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tremeli Mr. Bell says nothing near Portland, Oregon on 6955. M1 and BZ says there's a pirate on 6985 in Europe. Yeah, that one is there kind of 24 hours-ish. Let's I'm gonna bring up a few pages here. I'm gonna bring up HF Underground. HF Underground. I'm gonna check for pirates here. hfunderground.com, the best place to know about pirates that are on. So 6955 still unidentified. And the one in Europe on 6985 is, I'm trying to remember the name of it. 6985 is the Vault. The Vault. So, and it's reported here actually today, and 2028 UT, Chris Smolinski. So East Coast might be receiving this one. And let's check Priam for the M12. There's another M12 number station from Russia, Moscow, Russia, 6794 in 16 minutes. We're gonna try to get this one when it actually happens. 15. Let's try 15770. There's usually Radio Prague in English.
You're a bass baritone.
Pretty good.
Your voice is particularly suited to singing some operas and works by some composers.
There is a path that each of us walks, and nobody can really tell which way the voice
Very
goes
strong signal.
in the company.
Radio Prague via WRMI on 15770 right now. If you guys want to try that out. Pretty good here. Pretty good here. It's been making giving a good signal pretty much all the time here. So really nice. What else do we have? What else do we have? J Dakota couldn't hear 25 yesterday, but it was heard the day before. Trevor Williams, nice to have you on board from Charlottetown. Loving my new Texan PL330. It's even smaller in real life than I thought. Not that it's a bad thing. You know, today's radios is always a surprising one. The one that surprised me the most when I got it was the XH Data D808. For some reason, with the pictures that I'd seen, it for me seemed to be bigger than what I got in the box. When I got the box and I opened it up, I was like, wow, this is a tiny radio. On the 330, I was expecting a small radio because what I do now is I look online and I look at the size specifications, because don't look at the pictures. They all look big in the pictures, but they're smaller than they are in general. So there is a surprise sometimes because of that. So Jim's radio check. Nice to have you on board, my friend. We have Mary LaBelle. Nice to have you on board from Western New York. Zenfaro says, I have the loop horizontal because it fights the local noise the best. So it was on orientation. Might have been the battery I used for the bias T. On the MLA30, I just changed it. Huh, okay. Jim's radio check is getting ready for the cold weather. Yep. Grumpy Kitty Boy says, oh no, I'm someone who tends to drop things on the floor for some weird reason. I hope they don't drop my new radio as well. I don't drop my new radio as well. Yeah, it's something that you got to be careful for sure. Northern Dots decoding FT8 on 20 meters with his smartphone. Jim's radio check. Turn my MLA30 antenna north and south instead of east and west, and it works much better. Then Farrell says, speaking of batteries, I put lithium D cells in the Satellite 800, and they work well, but I don't last as long as I might have expected. In theory, I can do that with the FRG7. Huh. Grimby Kitty Boy, got to watch out for that radio report on CKUT then. Yes. Mad Max dropped my brand new 55-inch TV this year. Took it out of the vehicle, started walking, tripped over the water, shut off, sticking out of the ground, landed directly on it. Luckily, nothing happened. At least. Frank says, yes, I watch CKUT on YouTube. Trevor Williams, awesome. Just subscribed. Thanks. Joseph Eckenbaum, nice to have you here from the San Francisco Bay Area, California. Scanning on his GP5 with long wire, pre-storm. Nice propagation today so far. Cool. Jason Drummond, nice to have you on board from Scotland. Tommy Xer, for information, Jill SDR plays. Mike Harwood compares the Monito cross-country wireless LZ1AQ and Wellbrook active loop antennas. The CCW holds up well, so cool. I'm going to check that out, and I'm going to install that, I can tell you. ISU 2005 says, thank you for getting my questions. Oops. Hate it when it jumps like that. Just subscribe to your channel. Looking forward to more content in the future. It's a great place. I can tell you that. Brad says, about time for a refill. Yeah, I'm going a little faster today. For the restock, I don't know, Joseph. I'd have to ask I'd have to ask Nick at CountyCom for that. Circle K Video Gates. Nice to have you here from Western Idaho. JJH says it's Scotch time. Simon Templar, Angel, I learned about HF Underground from you. Been on there quite a bit. I finally joined in a few days ago. Thank you again, my friend. Yeah, and it's fun because HF Underground, you can join, like you said. I've joined. And what's nice is that once you join, if you're the first to hear a pirate, you can actually go on the blog post your pirate catch, and then have everybody comment on it. It's really a great place, and HF Underground is really the place for pirate radio activity. And there's tons of people that report the pirates. You know, if there's a pirate on the air, it takes just a few minutes, and you're there. And a little trick: if you post a log, first of all, if you post the logs, follow the log the way that it's meant to be, with the frequency, time, and you know that you have, or if you have the name and everything in the title, and put your email in that post, and you will be surprised. Quite a few pirates actually EQSL with the email they see in HF Underground if you put one. So they'll send you an EQSL. A lot of them operate like that. They actually rather do that than start giving out emails or stuff. But it's a great place for pirates. It's the best pirate website. So when you listen to pirates, want to know what's on the air, you can check it out. Northern Dawn, I pretty much don't bother with any FM broadcast stations now. Niche interests are better served by the net. N1 MBZ says 15770 kilohertz have been noisy, but making it to the UK. Cool. We have Yep, Joseph, HF Underground rules. Simon Templar, here's the 15770 on his IC 7300. RGA Dakota says smaller radios are easier to pack into suitcases or camping. Yep, for sure. For sure. The PL 330 is great for that. Zenfaros is copying Radio Prague 15770. Clear near New York City. Frank 15770, also noisy in the Netherlands. S9 plus 10. And NL. Anyways, I think I messed up your location. Rufus 15770 says getting it on the XH data D808 with just the whip only. Here, let's try it, just out of curiosity, without any fancy antennas. And on my XH data D808. So here, inside with a super noisy environment, probably on the XH data. So let's see if we hear from the inside. 15. So frequency 15770. So inside, it's a little rough here. It still gets in. I mean, with all the equipment I have, of course, when I do this, it gets noisier, but pretty good. Using only telescopic.
Is that something that gets less appealing as you get older? Because for a lot of people, if you travel in your 20s, that's great.
That's kind of cool. So that works. That works. Even here with a very super noisy environment for radios. It's kind of cool. Let's check it on the ATS 25 key. And let's check it out. 15770. Enter. And whoops.
Probably not work enough and still spend time with the family.
Do you have to take special?
That's on the
measures
ATS 25 on
to
the
travel
MLA 30
and
loop.
fly a long distance on a plane to protect your voice?
I usually don't. There are things like humidifiers. There are measures to be taken, but they have never felt comfy in my point of view, and I usually just count on.
So that was Radio Prague on different devices. Always fun to play around with that. What else do we have? Lewis, any recommendations for an alternative to the XH808 that includes weather alert? I don't need air in that price range that use AA batteries. Your best bet, the closest thing for that would be the C-Crane CC Skywave SSB. It has airband and weather alert features, and but it is almost twice the price of an XH data. That is the sad thing about it. But it will add. It does have airband too, anyways, but it has weather alert channels if you need that. It's of all the radios in that price range, it's pretty much the only one I can think of that has NOAA weather channels with weather alert. You know, that is probably in some cases a reason why some people purchase the C-Crane Skywave SSB, because they want to have also the possibility of hearing the weather channels and stuff. Unclear says, have to go to church, take care. And always nice to have everybody here. Take care, Art K2 ADC. Magazine 1976. Good afternoon from a chilly West Michigan. So cool. David in Barcelona says, this happened to me with the ICOM ICR 8500. And watching your videos, it looked like a pretty big desktop radio. When I got mine, I was surprised by how compact it was in comparison. You know, it's easy to get fooled, and in the size of radios and everything, it's crazy. It's very, very difficult to really assess the size if you don't look at the size in the advertisement. It was the width that I found the biggest difference. For some reason, I found that I had been able to guesstimate the ICR's 8500 height pretty well. Oh, man. Joseph, getting some signal on 15770 in California, pretty much just a fuzz, though. I believe 15770 is aimed for the East Coast, so maybe that's why you're not getting it very well. There's Bandmax. They really overbuild the shipping boxes for the TVs. Well, you know, the big TVs. You know, I've got a 70-inch in my living room, and when I got it, you know, these things, you're always scared because, I mean, a 70-inch TV with that big, you know, panel in front, you're always afraid that in shipping it might get broken somehow. But what I like, and I've noticed this even with this TCL TV that I got here, this is a 50-inch that I've got there that I'm actually seeing the chat room with. And that 55-inch, which is dreadfully inexpensive when you think about it, actually works amazingly well for what I do here. I'm almost thinking of buying a second one for the wall down in the back here that would have stuff for shortwave and so on, or maybe even an SDR. I like the way that they built the box in a way that you open just the bottom and slide off the box, and the TV holds, because in the bottom of the box, the way that it's made, It's super rigid, and it holds the TV in, so you can easily pick it up and put it wherever you want. But man, these TVs are they're it's crazy, and they're pretty lightweight today. I mean, even the 70 inch, I 70 inch, I got help from the guy, but if I didn't have any help, I could still put it up, pull it up for three up until the where I live at the third floor. 55 inch was like a breeze. It was easy to actually bring up. It's not these big old CRTs. If we'd have a 70-inch CRT, it'd weigh 1,000 pounds. Man, I had the 26-inch Sony, the CRT, and it was so. I got help from my nephew to bring it down 3 floors because that thing was so heavy that man, is crazy. It's sad because it's really the place that's missing. Because honestly, I would have kept the CRT. I would have kept the 26-inch Sony for the computers. Like I set it up here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have my Commodore here set up. Commodore 128. It's actually working. You see the joysticks? I was playing some of those retro games, and it's I actually see the screen there. I'm gonna show you guys. Turn it on here, and you guys probably will see it, I would guess. So what I do is I turn off the lamp here, and I have on the wall here the screen. So if I turn off, I don't know if you guys are going to see it. If I turn off, I can find my phone, which is under the XH data. So what I do is I simply use the projector and display the Commodore on the wall here. So you can see here the Commodore 128, and you can go to the Commodore 64 mode. So all I do is this, and now I've got a Commodore 64 on my wall, and I can play the games and stuff. So been having a lot of fun with that. So what I do is I just shut down the lights, and so it's dark, and play Commodore games. I've just set it up because I was in a little moment where I wanted to have a little more Commodore playback. I like playing the good old games on the Commodore computer, and I've got a little drive which mimics the floppy disks, but it's a little circuit board that plugs in the Commodore. I just put the images of the Commodore games or that I want to play on an SD card in it, and it loads like it's a disk drive. Trim Belly Mr. Bale here in kind of week 11610 from Northwest Madagascar. So I forgot about the number station. I'll see if we can hear the other one afterwards. Let's check pirates, see if anything else has started in the pirate level, in the pirate entries here. So still nothing right now. Archer's Auto Crafter's Kitchen says batteries do not last long, and the Greenwich Satellite 800 PLL circuit is battery hog, but battery warning starts flashing way before they are actually depleted. So it's like the XH data. I get that comment all the time, and people are like, well, is it normal that after like 20 minutes, the XH data displays that only half of the battery now? And you don't look at that, because that part where the battery indicator is like half, it's going to last 6 hours like that, or 8 hours like that. It's just the battery indication isn't good. Zygsu New listener here. When setting up an antenna, is length or height more important? Right now, my antenna is about 7 feet off the ground. Depends what you're setting up, but if you're setting up, for example, a wire, the longer the better is probably better than, of course, as high as possible, but start thinking the longest possible, more than the highest possible. But you want to have probably both the highest and longest possible. But I would trade off. I would trade off a even if I would be only 7 or 8 feet off the ground, I would put 50 feet of wire, and it would still work great for reception. Roger Gibbs on board, and nice to have you here. Simon Templar, Pirate Radio Radar. Yep, pretty much. Just wondering, what would shortwave listening be like at the North and South Poles? Would it be any different or just extreme versions of winter and summer listening in the rest of the world? It is a very unique position. First of all, you're in the auroral zone, so you're affected very easily by even the slightest solar winds that would mess up your propagation. But you're in a unique position where, if you're at the North Pole, for example, you are close to Europe. You're as close to Europe as you're close to North America, as you're close to Asia, all around. So depending on the time of the year and everything, there could be some really interesting listening going there. It definitely must be a very unique spot and hearing stuff. Just look here. And there's the alert base here in Canada at the most northern part of Canada, which isn't a military base. And I don't know if they still do that, but they had been located there easily because apparently from there, hearing transmissions from Europe and Russia was like one of the best positions in Canada because, of course, you're really close to Russia compared to here in Montreal, for example. So it must be a very unique thing. Honestly, it definitely isn't just extreme weather. It must be very unique propagation also. What else do we have? MP, nice to have you here. Nick Sharp, HF Underground states when posting loggings, please include the station name, frequency, mode, and time and date you first started to hear the station and the subject. Yep, you have to follow a certain way of posting to make sure that everybody is in the same category and understands the post well. PLF Radio saw some videos comparing the XH Data D808 and CO-Odon D808. On the comments, they say there is better noise floor with the CO-Odon. I don't know. They changed the color of the light. One video I have seen that I need to find, you guys probably like that if I share it. The guy opened up the radios. He has the CO-Odon and the XH Data. He opened up the radio and he couldn't find any single difference in the circuit board. So if that's the case, that would mean that is the same radio and it shouldn't have any difference. Now, what is intriguing of the CO-Odon version is the lights are not the same color. The display is orange. If you have a different display, it might simply be because that's now probably the cost of the orange LEDs are different or the ones they're using. But could they technically have made other changes in it? I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. Trimley Mr. Bell, 15770 near Portland, Oregon, on his ICOM 756 Pro 2 and 4080 meter receive transmit horizontal dipole. We have Zenfaro says, I just did what you did with a PL330 instead of XH data, and it's the same. If I hold the whip in the right place, it comes in fine. Jim's radio check. Instead of having a flight of beer, he's having a flight of radios. Man. Cold water. Also picking up 15770 in San Francisco Bay Area. Is Hamstick and ICOM 7300 not strong, but you can hear it. Cool. Gary 24 fan. I have my trusty little Sony 7600 JR practically sitting next to my Wi-Fi router and also getting 15770 clearly in northern Maine. Kamasi 76 15770 strong. I almost purchased one, the Shortwave 7600 from Sony. Maybe I should, because I have never owned a Sony portable shortwave. Ever. So maybe I should have purchased one when they were available. Especially now that Sony doesn't make them anymore. W8 JB Jim, nice to have you here from North Carolina. Sakama, is there any known problem that can come over the years with the Kenwood R5000? Yes. The Kenwood R5000 when it ages, it doesn't age well. And what happens is you at some point start getting the dots problem in the display. Why? Because the wax that they put on the circuit board mixes with the humidity in the air. And what happens is that the radio, it starts kind of corroding the components. And there's phase lock loop loss. It can't lock anymore. So the radio technically doesn't know what frequency it's tuned to. That's one. There's the key bounce on the keypad. But the dots problem is probably the worst. And that is almost most Kenwood R5000s end up at some point in their life doing that. And that means clean up of the board, removing that wax, and very often having to actually replace some of the components on the board. Pele Frazio, yes, the ICOM ICR30 is discontinued. Absolutely. The European and Asian pages of ICOM do say discontinued. It still doesn't say here on the ICOM America page, but it's apparently discontinued now. ManMax, there's a Harongda HRD 747 portable radio that covers AM, FM, shortwave, SSB, air, UHF, VHF. Yep, I got one here. Let me see if I can see it. I noticed it not long ago. It's not far. I got it here. Here it's totally useless as a radio. Here I have a lot of FM and strong VHF broadcasts. And so that radio's overloaded. It's useless for me. Useless on every band. From shortwave to the air and VHF, UHF, it really, really is a horrible performance for me here. I would like to see if, where signals are not overloading it, if it might be better. Simon Templar, yes, I will. My Halloween show is on Saturday. Next Saturday is Halloween show. So that will be happening next Saturday. What else do we have? Jim's radio check. YouTube dumping Roku. Okay. I-61. That's so cool. What What else do we have? So, I guess there's something they're not happy with. Usually, when they drop a platform, that's because they're not happy about something. What else do we have? Keegan says I got a Sony CFD 510 CD reader cassette recorder from '94, still works. And Simon Templar just emailed a picture of his old computers. Let's check that out. 2 new messages. So, I haven't received your email. Make sure that you sent it to the official shortwave radio at gmail.com, because I don't have it here right now. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. David, go with the second screen. I missed the TV you had Zero Uno on not long ago. Also missed the tuning the bands you did on the streams. So maybe that could come back on that second TV. Yeah, I'll be checking that out. But yeah, I am thinking of maybe getting a second TV here. The TCL, I mean, you know, it's those they're cheap big screen TVs, but honestly, I'm extremely happy with it. It does what it needs to do really well. And, you know, it's a smart TV. It has the app. So if I want to watch Netflix or stuff in my office when I'm working and stuff, I can do it. And I honestly, for the price, I'm very happy. I keep the 70-inch in the living room for, you know, watching movies and stuff. Zenfaro, speaking of up there, should we check on Iqaluit weather again? What's the frequency? Yeah, Iqaluit it's going to be in an hour's time, I believe. Iqaluit is going to be at 2235 UT. EIBI space, let me check it out here. Frequency is 6507. And it should start at 2235 to 2315 UT is the schedule here. So in exactly or roughly an hour's time from now, we should have Iqaluit weather available. So I'm going to check that out. Hey, let's check out Priam. 3 minutes. In 3 minutes. M12 Morse code number station from Moscow, Russia. 8094CW. So 8094CW. And if you don't have CW, you can go on 8093 upper sideband. So 8094. Myself in CW here. And we're going to see if you start hearing some Morse code. We'll check it out. Check that out. N6RLS, nice to have you here from finally rainy Berkeley, California. Ali Fitz, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Gary24 fan, thought about getting another radio. Honestly, Sony is just solid and served me well enough over the years. You know, I'll be honest. When you have a radio that's decent, there is no need to have another one. You know, I might be talking about the Texan receivers and the H501X that I love and the 990X. PL330 is great. Yet, if you've got some decent radio, even if it's older, there is no need. I say it often. There is not enough difference. A good radio from 20 years ago will receive the same thing that these radios will get here. They're just newer radios, and that's it. It's more of I want to have radios than anything else. Not well, maybe if I buy a Texan PL990X, I will have, better reception, it's more sensitive and so on. Differences of radios in the past 20, 30 years for most of them isn't that big actually. And you will receive on, that Sony, anything I get on my Texan and so on. It's really just more of a, "Oh, I'd like to have some new radio, you know. So I'm not hearing anything. Um, what else do we have? 7 Templar says, yes, the ICOM SCR30 is discontinued. That says, now it says it in the computers at work. Okay, so that's, and there's no replacement. I haven't seen any replacement, right? There doesn't seem to be any replacement. Speak like Bob Ross. I'm going to take 30 minutes and do a painting. Why are you always painting radios? I don't know. I'm obsessed. Yarabamba, nice to have you on board. Says, I read about an Antarctic Eclipse festival in December for radio amateurs. Does an eclipse affect shortwave propagation? Yes. Since the ionosphere is, of course, where all of that happens, and it's the sun that actually drives a lot of the ionosphere's propagation. When there's a solar eclipse, what happens is that the moon blocks the sunlight. And of course, also the solar radiation touching the ionosphere. So it definitely shifts propagation and changes propagation. And one of the effects, for example, some people will DX medium wave. If you have a total solar eclipse or you're near totality, not that far away, you might hear distant AM stations come in, like at night, for a certain amount of time. And as the shadow moves, it shifts the propagation of which stations you're hearing. And it lasts, for an hour and a half as the shadow of the moon actually goes through. So there's definitely some effect for sure. Frank, the R5000 I have still works fine, but I have the problem with the keys. If I press some keys, then I get multiple entries. Yeah, that's a known problem. That's a known problem. They need to be cleaned up. What else do we have? So, an email stuck at customs. Yep. Terry Cook, nice to have you here. Expecting more radios to be discontinued as the chip shortage becomes worse. Yeah, I don't know if it has. In my opinion, it doesn't have to do necessarily with a chip shortage. I think it has to do simply with not enough people were actually purchasing that radio. So I don't have the email. Make sure you send it at. I'm going to give you the. I'll post the email here. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. This is where you should be sending. I don't have it coming in. Do I have it on my phone? Unless you're sending it somewhere else. Let me check here on my phone if I got emails from. Oh yeah, I got it from a different email. You're sending it probably to another email. Which email did you send it to? But here, I can show you guys on my phone. A Atari, a good old Atari. Look at that, guys. So anyway, so we see it. It's Really cool. Really cool. So Atari 800. I've got an Atari. I got an Atari 1040 ST just there. That's waiting to be plugged in and work. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, I love these old computers. I rather because you can run stuff in emulation. Honestly, I'd rather run stuff with the real machines. Blind Picker, nice to have you here. W0RAB, Robin, Connecticut. Robert Osborne, have you done any work with FLDG to decode digital mode signals on shortwave? Yeah, often. I even have quite a few videos on that on the channel. I've decoded some weather facts. I've decoded some all sorts of digital modes in the amateur bands. I've decoded the best way to play around and test that is with the shortwave radiogram broadcast, trying different modes. They usually start in MFSK32, but regularly I fire up the software and just start checking out the take care, grumpy kitty boy, and hope to see you again. Zenferos, the not getting another radio is true, except if you are in the hobby for 50 years, you'll probably end up with about 10 of them, if not more. Absolutely. M1BZ can hear the CW on 8094. Nick Sharp says 8094 now on with current Morse code. Didn't hear anything here, though. Hey, Trucker Daddy, John in Quebec. Nice to have you on board from Sherbrooke. Off to work. Admit it, you're hooked on radios. Yes, I am. Absolutely. But that's I showed it now, Simon Templar, so I guess it's going to be okay. But I didn't realize because my tablet, I have only one email on my tablet. I have to look at my phone for the other emails. Kimaxi 76, I think I hear Morse code very lightly. Frank, I hear the CW transmission on 8094. VT Radio says hearing the CW on in Vermont. So, wow. Didn't hear anything here. Seems to be very noisy on that range here. So, kind of a tough one. Probably too much noise. Happy Mittens tuning a Happy Dial by Bob Ross. Take care, VT Radio. Have a good nap. G, still have the Sony ICF 2003. Any cap issues with these? I haven't really heard of much problems, but most radios, when they age, it could be an issue at some point. Painting a slow scan TV image. That's a good one. Richard, will the ATS-25 work with the telescopic? The adapter is in the mail. Yeah, it does. It does. It's not the best solution, but it definitely does. It receives with the telescopic. I've heard quite a few broadcasts using only the telescopic on it. So yeah, you can test it out with that. What else do we have? WF7I Umbrew, good evening. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Always nice to have you here. Says, good evening, folks. Enjoying outdoor dining with my wife in Virginia. We'll have to return to dining or Anger the XYL. What are you doing? Oh, I just went to the bathroom. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? So take care, WF7I Homebrew. Have a good meal there with the wife. Simon Templar says Yesu had to kill off the FT3DR due to the A and 2D chip, analog digital chip not being available from the plant that burned down last year. They brought it back as the FT5DR with a different analog to digital chip. There has been a few things that have been discontinued due to chip shortage, definitely. I know that C-Crane, one of the radios C-Crane made, was discontinued due to that also. We're really in a problem right now because it's the supply chain is really bad. So things aren't going well. You can wait for your computer, buy a new computer, and you can wait for it for such a long time, actually. What else do we have? Sampin Templar has a couple of 1040 STEs too. So cool. A High 61 says, I have an old Telefunken Partner 400 radio. Keegan, I have a Grundig S450 DLX since August 2012. High 61 says, got 3 shortwave radios so far. Had 5 shortwave radios, but one died, and the other I had to return. Chuck Yunkin, my VR 5000 Yesu worked good. Kimberly, Mr. Bell, light can go through walls of your house, but radio waves go through walls. Wouldn't that make walls see-through? Yeah. Actually, you could technically, you could radar your neighbors. You could technically radar your neighbors and see where they are and what they're doing with radio waves. So it's like, yeah, that would be possible. So it's these are things to think about. Spying on neighbors with radar. That would be a that would be a first. Yeah, what are you doing? Oh, I'm spying on my neighbors with radar. Okay. What are they doing? Oh, they're watching TV. What else do we have? Okay, so I'm down the chat room. Pretty cool. You know what, guys? I'm going to take a little break for 2 minutes, and I'm going to actually go and fill my drink with a second drink, and so that we can actually continue our show. So be back in a couple of minutes. Also, I'll be looking at what's happening with the cats, as both Paul and his girlfriend were both in the house a little earlier. So let's take a little break. Be back in exactly a couple of minutes. And we are back with, of course, Hungry Cats. Hungry Cats. And here we are. Here we are. So, let's just go here. Okay, so let's check out if 9830, Voice of Turkey, is it coming in? Yeah, Voice of Turkey 9830 in English. It's not super strong, but it's there. See on the SDR here. 9.30. Yep. AM. So this is on the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. Not the best reception. They'll be changing soon in a week. Next week, they'll be changing that frequency to. Usually, what they do is I think they choose 5960 at 22 UT for North America. So that one should come in better. Bob D, nice to have you here. I should have put the Moscow Nights while I was gone. Harold Anderson, nice to have you on board from Oslo, Norway. LB1NH, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Cricket sounds. Harold had contact with a station in Gambia yesterday. It was very fun. This is a very long distance from where I am. Real DX contact there. Cool. It's a lot of fun. Nick Sharp, is there a software program which will allow me to decode the CW signal into a computer and display in Western character format? If you're talking about the M12 Morse code number station, I believe I've seen something about somebody doing a software that can translate the Cyrillic characters sent through CW, because what they're sending in CW isn't standard CW. But for the rest, FLDG, multi-PSK, they all work decently well at decoding CW. The problem with CW is when it's sent by a human. Humans are not constant, and that drives the software nuts, and it doesn't decode well. Canadian Radio TV guy, good afternoon. Nice to have you here. Good to have you here. And Dave, time to refresh the vodka cranberry. And back to being a shortwave stream. Richard, what size mask do I use for the Tram 1411? Depends on how high you're going to put it, but you don't need too much of a big pipe to hold it in general. It is rather lightweight. It's really, thinking of the wind. So you can use, just sturdy enough to hold it, and think of when there's high winds, make sure that it holds up for the Tram 1411. Jim's ready to check drive-in movies. I understand they're starting to make a comeback. Huh, interesting. Interesting. They were kind of a dying breed there. No, 9830 Turkey in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, that's more for the East Coast. Rufus, 9830, bad here in Laurentian Valley. I-61, my girlfriend was in the military. She used a Harris RT 1523 field radio. Wow. Must be some nice, there's a lot of nice equipment in the military. But for the M12 Morse code stuff, I've seen something somewhere. Somebody had made a decoder that actually gave the characters, but still, it's just going to be groups of numbers and letters. No real, you're not going to see text or anything. Zen Farrow says getting something on 9830, speaking English, but not quite intelligible in New York City. Yeah, it's not very good tonight. So when they're going to change next week, they're going to change to an 5960. That's going to be probably better. Meme TV, nice to have you on board from Germany. DG9GBM. Nice to have you here, Mike. Nelson, good evening. Keegan says that on the 19th had FMDX stations from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas. Pretty good. Pretty good. Joseph, outside now with the GP5 and long wire. Propagation must be great because I'm getting both WWV and WWVH on 10 megahertz. Cool. Canadian Radio TV guy says just read that RAE English voice Tony Middleton passed away on October 12th. Yeah, there was a I need to go back. I saw a post in the Shortwave listening post about that. Indeed. And so our hobby is getting the average age of our hobby is enough people that work in the hobby and work in the different places and stations are often kind of an old average. So fortunately we used we lose them from time to time, unfortunately. Zenfaros 9830 getting stronger. Meme TV, my favorite shortwave receiver is the Gredic Satellite 700. Lewis just ordered a CC Skywave SSB. Have fun. Jeff McLeod says, does that nice white cat still come around to see Paul? The strays in my neighborhood stop showing up when it gets cold. Yeah, actually, she's here much more now because of the cold nights. She sleeps here on the couch. And she was actually here when I went to get my drink. I went to look but just before the show started, I opened the door and Paul and her entered at the same time. They were outside for a couple of hours. And so I closed the door, put food, and hope for the best. She was sleeping. Actually, when I got out of the room, she was sleeping on the couch in the living room. And while I was in the kitchen, she came to ask for more food. And probably now she's probably back on the couch sleeping. She's been coming over a lot more now because it's getting cold. And she probably feels that it's much better here because it's warm. The only big problem is the fact that she's really scared. So it doesn't take much for her to want to get out. You got to be careful what I do when she's inside. I'm actually very careful of what I do, not making too much noise and all. But they're both here right now. Polly's in the bedroom, sleeping in the bedroom. It's his favorite spot for sleeping, probably because it's dark, because I never open the curtains there. And it's quiet. Jim's radio check. Okay. Red Prosper still looking for a great under $120 radio for AM DXing. I would have to compare. The XH data is known to have a longer ferrite, and it might be one. The Texan PL330, you can actually use the external antenna, I believe, as an AM. Does it work for AM? It does, yeah? Yeah, it does, with the key trick. It's not the antenna jack. Yeah, it's the telescopic though. Actually, I took out because I want to make videos. I've been talking about it, and I never make them because I never think about it. But I took out this little thing for that purpose. Since the Texan H501, the 990X, they can actually use external antennas for medium wave. I want to try this loop and plug in the to the external antenna jack of the radio. I actually even want to try that with the ATS-25 here and see if I can actually improve and have fun with medium wave on the ATS-25 using this. And of course, there's going to be videos coming out of this. So I'm going to have fun. I haven't used this one in whoops, sorry guys. I haven't used this one in quite a while. And I mean, it's a fun little antenna. It's kind of a very nice little antenna from Texan for medium wave DXing. So I'll definitely be playing with that. I'll probably play with that tonight. I'm gonna install myself real nice for this to work and just do some nice radio videos. Jaywind, have you ever considered hosting a shortwave radio show on the air? Yeah, these are things that I think about all the time, but never came to really do anything with that. Nelson, is there any chat room for this channel? Well, this one is the chat room. I don't do Discord or stuff like that. And we have a Facebook group. Bob, sorry guys. Bob D has 6160, which is WBCQ 6160. It's rather weak here. 4790.
Yes, we do. Come on.
4790 is coming in well, but 6160 is not. Probably is skipping over Montreal a little bit. Chimbelli, Mr. Bale, hearing China Radio International pointed at 318 degrees in China, heard here near Portland, Oregon. Now, on the West Coast, you guys hear a lot more of the Asian stuff than I do. Robert Prosper is more into AM, FM, DX than shortwave these days. So, it's kind of cool. Shortwave listener SDR Plus can now decode M17. Can I hear 15600? 15600. Let me check 15600 here. 15. That's 600. I don't have anything on 15600 here. I hear maybe a little something very weak in the background, but nothing much. Turkey seems to be better now. I hear it. They have that little whining pitch in their transmitter now. And that little whining pitch in the transmitter usually means the transmitter is starting to have problems. It's a little better. The Turkey seems to have I've been a little stronger now on 9830 kilohertz. What else do we have? No, I won't budge. I'll be very fair. I don't care about Discord or any of that. So, it's not something that for me is important. And I'd rather keep stuff in the channel here. And there's too much, expanding and having too many different things. Too many different things around. Even the Facebook group I resisted for a long time before I actually did it. So I'm not into those things. Trimbali, Mr. Bell, I have the exact antenna. It don't work at all. It does work. Tried it with my Grandin Godboy 400. It does work. It does work. But wait a minute, Trimbali, Mr. Bell. You on the Yadboy 400. Okay, you can't use an AM antenna from the antenna jack. That antenna needs to be positioned near the radio, and by magnetic coupling, it actually couples with the ferrite within the radio. And because the AN200 works amazingly well. And then you have to just fine tune with the knob to the frequency you're tuned to, because it really definitely works. So I don't know if it's because you haven't done it right, but it should work. It should work. You should see a huge difference with that antenna. But for most radios, the way it works is that you need to just put the antenna near the radio. Most portables do not accept external antennas for AM. So you put the radio near the antenna in some way, and it couples with the internal ferrite, and it works well. And then you have to, of course, fine-tune it, because you got to fine-tune what frequency you're tuned to on the band, because this works really well, honestly. So if it didn't work, check carefully what you've been doing and the positioning of the antenna with the radio, because I'm sure that with the Yadboy 400 it works. That thing works with everything. I even had it working with old the American 5 tube receivers I've got here, and with pretty decent performance. So just make sure that you use it properly. And the antenna jack on it is only for radios that do have an antenna jack for AM medium wave. And last but not least, remember, it's a medium wave AM antenna only. Doesn't work anywhere else than for medium wave. Zenfaros, great AM DXing portable. Paperback book size, but not lunchbox size. Panasonic RFB45. It's fine for shortwave SSB, but it has a gigantic honking ferrite in there. Joseph, don't remember the weather radio model number. The one that I talked earlier, the CC Sky Crane SSB. CC Skywave SSB. Benny Dubia was watching a good show on Amazon Prime TV about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do you have a hockey team, Joe? Well, we have, of course, Montreal is Montreal. So the hockey team here is the Montreal Canadiens, and you are looked in a weird way if you don't tell everybody that you don't like the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, Boeing, you were missing those, eh, David? Oh, man. Zinfaro says 4790. S9 plus 20. Yeah, I find that too, Matt. Discord, like an old style IRC thing. So, Jim's radio check. MLA30 is great for AM DX. The Ethon 750 has a jack for AM. That's cool. Matt, HF Underground recently went into Discord in place of their old Rocket chat place, and it was a step or two backwards. Keegan, use Discord as I'm a DXing group as a moderator for the International DXing group. Keegan DXer. Zenfaros. Honestly, I don't care about. There won't be no like non-Facebook option for a very simple reason. I'm not into that. Be on Facebook, don't be on Facebook. We all know Facebook. They're not careful, and they're it's crazy stupid what they do. But honestly, the only thing that's important for me is that there's a place somewhere. Facebook is what I chose, and it's going to be like that. And there will not be any other options. Even if you guys ask, I will not do it. That I'll be very clear on that. I already have enough, anyways, to take care of with all the YouTube stuff. So it happens here. If you're on Facebook, you are. If you're not, you're not. It's fine. And for the rest, no, there won't be any other options. That's I don't have time for that. I have too much to do to have time to take care of something else. Because you always have to take care of whatever you add as an option. So I'd rather have this chat here and have the and the YouTube videos with the comments and stuff, and that's fine. And if you want to be on Facebook, cool, you're welcome. If you don't want to be on Facebook for whatever reason that you hate Facebook, so don't be on Facebook. It's all right. I mean, everybody's entitled to whatever they want. That's all. I just don't, I don't go with the Facebook crap stuff. I just I'm on Facebook and that's it. And for the rest, it's you be on Facebook or not. That's all. It's up to you. But there will be no other options. It's already too much to take care of. Plus my tech channel that I take care of. It's a lot of stuff. You guys don't realize when you do stuff like this, the amount of work it actually requires every day to maintain all of it. It's a much more complex thing than you might imagine. So you get to a point where it's like, look, I'm not going to have 18 different options to join people. This is how it is. Be there or not. That's all. Rufus 9830, quite fun here. Zenfaros 15600 have faint. I use the old analog trick of tuning through it in USB mode. Oh yeah, that happens. When I don't know how many times I did that with old radios, or even with the Texan H501 when I tune, just like tuning off a little bit in upper sideband or lower sideband to hear the carrier. It's there, but it's not strong enough to be a station you can listen to. Kevin, WBCQ, the planet was cursing and ranting about their oops, just gonna redo it here. So cursing, ranting of transmitters on air yesterday. I was laughing quite hard. It was quite the rant. I'm sure the FCC would not approve. He's been only ranting at all of that, and that not counting that the rant that he had about is the failed transaction of WBC which WHRI purchase, which didn't go through. I mean, I think maybe the FCC is looking at this and saying, okay, wait a minute here, we're gonna take time before we allow anything. But I've lost pretty much all respect for Alan Wiener and WBCQ in the last couple of years, listening to his Friday night rants of everything and starting to call Canada communist country. And it's like, yeah, okay, I got enough of your shit. Okay. It's get tiresome at some point. And, he's got some problems with the transmitter. Some of it, I'm almost like, almost just saying, look, I think part of the problem is you. You don't even know how to work that transmitter correctly. I can tell you that. Scuffed DXer, welcome aboard, says easier all in one place. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I want. I don't want to have 20 different, places where things are happening. Keep it to the minimum. Zen Faros is absolutely correct. The Texan loop works with the Yachtboy 400, but the Yachtboy 400 has a good ferrite, so he might not notice it on strong signals and makes the difference on weak signals. Yeah, that's where you see the big difference. When the signals are weak and you start playing around with the loop, that's where you see all of that happening, all the magic of the little antenna. It's not the best loop in the world, but it definitely is a pretty impressive little loop when you start playing around with it. Lewis, Mr. Carlson's lab did a great demonstration of close coupling, just and random inductor connected to an antenna sitting a few inches from the radio. Makes a huge difference. Yeah, it's impressive. Sometimes I am impressed by the fact that this antenna might be 2 feet away from the radio. And if you play with the tuning, it still has an effect on the radio. You definitely see that there's something happening. And even if it's not next to the radio, because it has to be next to play to really work well. But I mean, you put it far away and it's like, wow, that thing is like on the table there. And it still has a very small interaction with the ferrite within the radio. It's really really interesting. Robert Prosper Crane Pro seems to have the soft muting problem. I just cannot abide soft muting when tuning. Yeah, if when somebody uses the tuning knob all the time, or the tuning of a radio, it definitely is a bad thing. Honestly, um, we got to be careful. Not all DSP receivers soft mute, because the Texan H501X and the 990X are also using that DSP chip, but they are different. Their tuning is actually based more on analog PLL. The DSP chip is used only in one of the levels of the three, the triple conversion circuit. So it doesn't mute on the 990. It doesn't mute on the H501X, but most of them that are based directly on the DSP chip, unfortunately, they mute. Yeah, Mean TV. You can actually use it in combination with the external antenna. Absolutely. Take care, Lewis, and stay safe. Whoops, just gotta find where I was. Okay. So JWin 9830 is choppy near Philadelphia. What else do we have? Montreal Canadiens, the NHL's version of the New York Yankees. Matt, MDK2, speaking of crazy stupid for Facebook, I got hit for posting a story about Lego having a Lego recycling program. Give them your old Legos and they'll clean them and donate them. Well, that program's not available in the UK, and Facebook's fact check dinged me for posting a misleading story because it's not available in the UK. Yeah. That's like YouTube. YouTube has weird algorithms that aren't necessarily always correct. And they will sometimes flag you for something that isn't a bad video post. It's because their algorithms aren't perfect, but sometimes they flag you for stupid things. Absolutely. It's all done by computers, and if their algorithm is not good enough, it flags all sorts of things for stupid reasons. It's so dumb. Chaz Tank was cleaning out the storage yesterday. Found a large box of radio stuff I forgot I had. It's like finding a treasure. Going to have fun going through it. Cool. Matt says, despite of all that is wrong with Facebook, and there is a lot wrong, their social media platform is still the best way for people to connect and stay in touch. Nobody does that better. Yeah, absolutely. They have to address issues. What is the worst part of Facebook? The fact that they ignore that they're possibly going to they need to take care of their users better, because they know stuff like they know that they can, especially with Instagram and all of that, they know that they are affecting the mental health of people, because it's an environment where a lot of bad stuff also is going on. And it just needs to actually be responsible, that the bad stuff and the stuff that can be hurtful needs to be controlled better, and not be in a they need to fix stuff. They need to just fix it so that they are a better like internet citizen, because it's obvious that mentally the mental health of a lot of people is affected by that. They know it, they have the data also, but they just don't act. They don't do anything, and they should be responsible. They should be acting upon the fact that whatever is making is bad needs to be fixed, or needs to get better for the users, honestly. Because it's unacceptable that they have data that says, well, teenagers on Instagram or whatever are all like getting depressed because of the way that the social media platform displays an image. Especially when you're young. At our age, honestly, when we get older, we're not as we're not going to change necessarily, or be going nuts over an image problem or whatever, or just showing like this fit, muscular 50-year-old guy, and I'm going to start going crazy because I have a big belly. It's like, no, I don't care. I care. I mean, yeah, I'd like to lose a belly. I should take care of that. But I mean, it doesn't depress me. It's like, yeah, that dude is, going to the gym 3 hours a day for 7 days a week. I'm not going to do that, So, but when you're 18, 20, or if you're a teen, that image has much more importance. And unfortunately, there's too much of you always have to be perfect. You always have to be the best good looking, and you have to have, perfect hair, and you have to be skinny like this. And uh, look, no. But unfortunately, what happens is it destroys the mental health of a lot of people, especially the younger generations. And Facebook doesn't do anything about it. And they have to address that. They have to have a responsible way of having a social media. But that said, yep, Facebook is the best way to just get in touch with everybody. That they do it extremely well. Extremely well. You're not going to go to Discord to talk to your family. They're all going to do like, what the hell's that? But they're all on Facebook, and they all going to meet. They're all going to be there on Facebook because that's the easy way to do it. And frankly, a lot of people enjoyed that because there's not just negative about Facebook. There's positive stuff about Facebook too, but it needs to be more responsible about what it actually does. David McCormick is looking forward for ConnieCon GP7 unboxing. That should happen soon. I'm waiting for it. Jim's Radio Check 6115, Bob Dylan music, and that should be WWCR normally. Chameleon Mr. Bell says, got the red loop AM antenna to work with my DX440. Only difference is directional noise reduction. What else do we have? Then Farrell says, just keep in mind that how impressed we are. We are really being impressed with Michael Faraday. That guy was so far ahead of his time. It's insane. David McCormick says, got the AN200 with a grunting name on it. Great antenna. Bobby, so you obviously don't agree if someone made an unofficial Discord server for your channel. If somebody does that, it's not my channel. It's not my Discord server. And I will not promote it, and I will not in any way want people to go there personally. It's it's a branding thing. You can have an official. I will not stop anybody from having an official group of some kind of what I do. You're allowed. It's like having, I don't know, Microsoft fan page or something. It's like you're allowed. That's fine, and that's okay, because you could be a fan of something and want to enjoy it with other people, and cool. That's cool. But I will not be part of it, and I will not promote it because it's not. It's not part of my branding as the official Shortwave channel or what I do. That's all. But I'm not in disagreement that you start one with. That will be the case. I'm just not going to be part of it and not promote it. That's all. Am I going to take my mask off for Halloween? Yep, I'm going to shave. Meme TV, what are you thinking about DRM broadcast radio? On shortwave, unfortunately, on shortwave, I think it's useless to do that. Not that DRM doesn't have its positive side for certain types of broadcast ranges. I would think of DRM in, local broadcasting. I think it has a place for broadcasting within a city or an area. It could be definitely an interesting thing. But on shortwave, DRM for me is interference and useless future. And I mean, how long has DRM been around now? Did it take off? No. just a handful of broadcasters that are doing it. I was looking at, we talked about it on the International Radio Report. The fact that there is going to be DRM for the indigenous population of Brazil. Seriously, think about it for a second. The indigenous population of Brazil is going to buy DRM radios that are, anyways, unavailable and non existent anywhere. Who is the idiot that decided that that's going to happen? Because I'm sorry, he's an idiot. And they're going to spend money converting their transmitters for that. How idiot can you be and ignorant of what people are listening to? You know? WBCQ, we're broadcasting cursing quit. Matt says, I'm getting away from some of the more charged areas of Facebook myself and trying to focus on just friends and common interest. Twitter is more manageable for news and politics. The problem with Twitter is if you're a well-known personality, Twitter is a tough place for a lot of people with all the idiots trolling. I would say, and Kimberly K6YL says, is there anything similar to Facebook? I don't like Mike Zuckerberg. Had a Twitter account I deleted. What a relief. Don't want to fund narcissists. I think on Facebook, and I've been a victim of that a little bit. For a while, I noticed that. So when my pattern when I joined Facebook, first thing that happens is, what an amazing place to see people and connect with people and family and friends and people from school from a long time ago. Wow, this is so cool. We're all gonna, connect together. For that, Facebook is amazingly cool. It is the best platform for that type of connection. The problem is you've got to restrain yourself from, you don't want to have 1,000 friends on Facebook, because the more you have people in your Facebook group, the more you have a possibility of someday getting mad at someone, or getting mad at some comment, or getting mad at some position that people have. Because honestly, we see it with the pandemic, our different viewpoints of everybody, how it's driving people against each other because of different viewpoints. And Facebook, of course, being the place where a lot of people posts their own views of different things. The more you have people around in your Facebook group, the more you have a risk of going crazy. And so I went from it's fun to I was frustrated at a lot of the things that I would see from a lot of people, because they're not in my viewpoint. And, there's a respect, because there's two things you got to, we talk about respecting viewpoints. Yeah, you can respect viewpoints up to a certain point. When someone's point of view is not a point of view anymore, it's just a stupid way of thinking that is completely outside of what reality is. And then you start getting mad at people. So what I did is I went from it's fun to I was constantly frustrated at some people posting stuff to, you know what? Eliminate a lot of people from your Facebook group. What you need to do on Facebook is keep it at the minimum amount of the people you want and stay there. If you do that, you're a happy camper on Facebook. You're with the people you respect, that their viewpoints are, even though not always the same as yours, intelligent and people intelligent people that know what they're talking about. And you're going to be happy if you stay like that. But it's easy to go overboard because when you have too many people on your Facebook account, it becomes crazy. So it's like, that's why I was scared of the Facebook official Shortwave channel group. Because the first thing I thought is, we're going to have a lot of people there. And it's obvious that in all the people there's very opposing viewpoints on different subjects. So the first rule, this is a radio channel. The only thing you can talk about is radio. And I mean, if you listen to Radio Havana, Cuba, your comments about what you think about Cuba are not welcome. We're not a politics group or a group that has to talk about whatever country. If I post, I'm listening to the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran, don't post back, oh, their government, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope, not a place for this. It's a place where I am posting, I am listening to the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that's it. It's a radio aspect of everything. And I'm sorry, but radio comes out of all sorts of countries around the world that have different viewpoints, different governments that might be at the opposing end of what your own government is about. We're not there. And that's not what we're talking about. I don't give a damn about that. I do give a damn about, so I heard Iran on shortwave with a good signal or a fair signal with a program in English or French or whatever, or Cuba, or, the rest, your personal opinion of what you think of these countries, it's not welcome here. It's not welcome on the Facebook group. And you'll be banned immediately if you do a political comment about some country, some government, because we're not talking about that here. That's all. So it goes with all of that. You got to respect and keep track of what's happening. And Facebook, unfortunately, you can lose control easily if you're not careful to what you do. As for the rest, look, we all have our ethics, and I don't want to be on that group because I don't want someone making money off of whatever. But look, that's a lot of what the internet is. Google isn't a search engine. Google is the biggest ad company in the world. It's an advertising company. That's the money coming to Google. And that's why I'm here, also partly because it's my paycheck. My paycheck comes from the ads that Google display on YouTube. And so what happens is that's the way it works. And I mean, we have to make a living. So, when someone says, well, I have a ad blocker, it's like, fine, you're entitled to it. But I always say, if you want to be a good citizen on the internet, I have no problem using ad blockers. I have no problem when somebody tells me that, because obviously there's so many websites that are annoying with all the pop-ups and stuff. But I always say, you have exceptions to the rules that you could put in your ad blocker. And you could say, I like that channel, or I like that website, and I will actually add a rule where that site, the ads can be displayed, because somebody somewhere is making money. And don't forget, if 100% of all of you out there would use an ad blocker, a big chunk of the content that you like would be gone from the internet, because there's no way to monetize. And the other thing is, a lot of the content you have and you love, you'd have to pay for it to see it, rather than have it for free, just because, you got it for free because you watched the 15-second ad. I don't see that much of an inconvenience. I think people are going way too crazy about, advertising everywhere. That's the way the world works. And I don't use ad blockers. I never did, and I will never use ad blockers. And that's my take on it. Like I said, I have no problem with people people using one. And I even, as a tech guy, understand why people um, I understand why people use ad blockers when I see some of the websites I go to, and I'm like, oh God, this is crazy. This is out of control. The ad blockers exist, and people want one for the websites that just are going crazy over ads. It's like, okay, there's ads, but don't display a million ads. You got to be careful at the amount of ads and the way they are on your website, as to not annoy everybody also. Because I mean, there's ads and there's ads. I mean, when you watch TV, there's a lot of ads. Every 5 minutes you're gonna go out and, okay, here comes the ads. I'm gonna go do something else. So it's like everything on the internet. There needs to be things needs to be equal. They need to be properly done. For the rest, then after that, there's of course our own personal take on. I get it when people say, "Well, I don't want to be on Facebook because I don't want to, be part of that huge thing where people, where Zuckerberg's making billions." And yeah, I understand your point of view. It's not, honestly, it's not a bad point of view when I hear people talking about that. Also, it's like, I get it, I get it, and it's up to you. And that's fine. I mean, not everybody needs to be on Facebook. I'm more in the mode of I don't care, and he's going to make his billions anyways, and it's not having you on Facebook or not that changes anything in the world, and for him, and it's not going to be because we will think about that type of online service as well. I don't agree with that, so I'm not part of it. And okay. But even if you're part of it, doesn't change anything. And even if you tell everybody, oh, let's get off Facebook tomorrow morning because of the way they act, it ain't going to happen. Because the value that Facebook has for a lot of people, connecting them together, outweighs whatever negative side people see of Facebook. That's why it needs to be kind of regulated in some way, so that they're a better internet citizen, like I said. So enough talk about these things anyways. Chimbali, Mr. Bell, hearing 11910 Japan with an echo. Must be a dual routing to an antenna. Yeah, when there's an echo, usually it's because you're hearing short path and long path together. So, Zenfaros, I don't have my SDR set up at the moment. Anyone see on a waterfall what is sweeping modulation on 5265? I don't know if it's still there. Let's check it out. 5265. I actually just above 8265, an upper sideband. Just close to it, I see what sounds or what looks like a stanag. Oh yeah, I see the sweep. Okay, I know what you're talking about, and I will tell you what that is actually. I see it. I don't hear it much, but it looks like one of those. It looks like one of those Kodar, which is an ocean radar, which does sweeps. It does sweeps like that, but that looks like an ocean radar called Kodar. So René Charbonnier from Radio Classic Sunday, nice to have you here. the official Shortwave channel has a Twitter account, and I post mostly. I don't interact there. I just post. Um, I just post the there's a live show or there's this or there's that, and pretty much I don't interact much with people on Twitter. That's going to be VE3KRP. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Like I said, Bobby, I won't be part of it, and I won't promote it. But if somebody does an official Shortwave channel fan page or Discord stuff, it's like, so be it. It's like, okay, cool. That's pretty much it. I mean, does anybody? Whoops, I lost my spot. Darren Rogers, does anyone know if there's a shortwave logging program application for Microsoft Office applications like Microsoft Excel or Access database program starting Microsoft Office 2007? I've seen sheets of logs for Excel and stuff like that. Definitely does exist out there. I've seen some websites where they actually offered some of the Excel spreadsheet logging sheets and stuff. So there probably is, and maybe some of you are actually using it. So if anybody has anything for Darren about that. Kimberly had Instagram, never posted ever, so I deleted that too. Funding narcissists is what I felt it was doing by selling my information. So, it's every website. Your information is scooped up everywhere. You're here on YouTube. Your information is scooped up. It's the way they make money for advertisement purposes. John Beckham, how is your ham course studying for your license coming along? Pretty good. Pretty good. Next course is tomorrow. Frank, take care. 73. Keegan says, I have a love-hate with Facebook because of drama, political drama, Facebook changing the design on the desktop. And it's the life. What Facebook has brought a lot of people is the fact that now you see the everyday life of everybody. And you then see that person that you go to the bar with is now an extremist for something. And it's like, you start having a different viewpoint, It's Kimberly says, I like weeding out people by posting politics occasionally. It is a wonderful way to get people who can't handle free speech. Yeah, but there's different, because the problem is there's free speech and political ideas that are okay, but there's also the extremists which just tends to be too much. Because there's free speech is one thing. Let's get back to radio. But that's why my Facebook group, I took a long time before I decided should I or not do the group. Kimberly says, here I just don't like when I am having a conversation in our home near the phone, or then soon I get an advertisement for something we didn't search on. Robert Prosper erased himself from Facebook as best I could about 4 years ago. And I have a dummy account that I use if I need to look something up. Otherwise, I'm not on it and never post. So it's there's so many things that you can just be or not, and that's it. Do you get Radio Thailand okay in Canada? Says Bob Knox. West Coast mostly, because here on the East Coast it's a tough one. I can tell you that it's really a tough one. 15590. Next week they're probably going to go back to their 13 megahertz frequency. That might actually give me a chance to hear them again starting next Sunday with the schedule changes. So we're going to see. Yeah, the GU Super Radio 2 is not exactly something you put in a backpack, that's for sure. Hey, Barry, nice to have you here. Yeah, I get your take on what you'd like as a more portable radio, a more portable radio. Take care, Jim's Radio Check. Yeah, it's I see it better now and hear it better. Actually, the chirping sound it has. It's roughly from about 50 to 50 kilohertz all the way up to 50 to 80 kilohertz, almost. But that definitely sounds like Kodar, which is a type of radar on the coast that checks the the height and current direction, the height of ocean waves, stuff like that. Nope, nobody ever, Trimbelli, Mr. Bell, nobody knows what 67, 80 beeps are all about. So nice to have you here, Barry. Nick Sharp, has that Canadian weather report appeared yet? Yeah, I like Cuba with the Canadian weather report. It's like okay, what are you doing? Calowitz 6507, is it on? Forgot about it. 6.507. Am I hearing anything here? Ouch. Remember that Iqaluit isn't a all year thing. Iqaluit are off starting somewhere in October. So they could be actually stopped for the winter. Temperatures are now getting cold in the Arctic, so these are weather reports for the marine broadcast stuff. Once the ocean freezes over in some of the areas in the Arctic, those weather reports are not there anymore because they're useless. There's no boats until the melting season in the spring. So it is not impossible that at this time, October 23rd, they might have stopped the broadcast until spring because they're not all year round. Kimberly says YouTube pays for premium. So, that's the other thing they could do, paying premium for certain services that it pays the content creators, and at the same time, it prevents you from seeing ads if you don't want to see ads. Yep, there is a slice. YouTube Premium has a slice of your subscription goes to my content. Absolutely. So that's pretty cool. Tom the Extra uses a basic spreadsheet for his loggings, and it contains 1,200 entries. Barry says, I use Facebook Messenger to keep in touch with my kids and some other family members. Harry Kachar, you see how boring their life is. Yeah, that is one thing that you see a lot. Is like, wow, so many people have a boring life. Jeff McLeod, I sometimes hear a time station different from 5,000 and 10,000, but it says the words Canadian time. Is that what I'm hearing? And does Canada use a different time system? So on 5,000 and 10,000, there aren't Canadian time stations there. But there we do have CHU Canada, which is on 3330, 7850, and 14670. But we have UTC time in general. So it shouldn't be, because it used to be that we had standard time, Eastern Standard Time on CHU. For a long time, CHU time signal was standard time. But now CHU is UTC. They've changed to UTC many years ago. John Hummel Newell, V5JHN, says worldwide DX contest next weekend. Yep, that's going to be a popular one. It's always a very popular one and a fun one to monitor also. Well, unsubscribe, Shortwave listener. That's your right. And we talk about different things. If you're not happy, go somewhere else. That's the life. And that's not going to change. And there will be times when I will talk about other things. And if you're not happy, you know where to go. Somewhere else. Calvin, has anyone had any problems with Texan PL680 not been used for a while with audio sounding like it's underwater? Have you removed the batteries for 24 hours? Just out of curiosity? It's weird. They haven't been used for a while. Remove batteries for 24 hours and then put them back and see if it comes back normal. Because it's not just the Texan. It's a lot of portable receivers tend to have kind of like CPU. They have these little chips, like little processors. Sometimes the CPU gets locked up in some way because of static electricity or something. Even sometimes just changing the batteries, the power comes on and for some reason it doesn't come on right. There's something that just isn't working perfectly. So try 24 hours without the batteries. But I've had mine without batteries or without being used for a long time and put batteries back and had no problems. It's kind of weird. Sounds like it's underwater. That is kind of weird. Is 5085 audible in Canada? It's really weak here near Portland, Oregon. Usually it's decent here. Let me, I don't know. Are they on right now? 5.085. Yeah, they're pretty strong right now. Yeah. A little noisy, but it's there. 5085 coming in from WTWW. Gary 24 fan is hearing something on 6507, but very weak. So that's possible. Dan, nice to have you on board. And Kimberly says, I like that part of premium to help creators. That was a big plus for my decision to pay for YouTube Premium. That's cool. That's cool. And that is a fine way of helping creators and having content and not having ads. Perfect. That is perfect. Barry, so I'm moving soon to a place off Bean and Pat, far enough away from man-made noise, and hope to install my Part 15 long wave beacon while running it all on solar. Wow, that's cool. Fun little project there. Bob Knox, do you have a Jupiteru MVT 7100? Nope. I've sometimes thought about purchasing one, and finally never went to getting one officially. One of those Jupiter wideband receivers. Calvin, yep, no batteries in case and leaked, and I'll try again for the 24 hours. Yeah, try 24 hours again. Just maybe it because it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Shane, loving the stream. I'm new to DXing. I have an XH D808. Is there any recommendations of interesting things to listen to in the UK? Thanks. There's a lot of interesting stuff to listen to. The best thing is to go to schedule websites. You can go to short-wave.info and look at schedules for stations. That's one thing you could do because there's a lot of stuff. You just need to know where and what time to listen. So that's one part. You can also go to EIBI space.d for more schedules and learn what the bands are, where the amateur bands are, the utility bands are, and everything. Because there's quite a lot of stuff that you can listen to on the bands in the UK and in Europe. You guys are kind of lucky compared to us here in North America. Kevin says, surprised with it. Love that radio. Never had a problem with it. Yeah. Hope that it gets back, man. Because it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. What else do we have? Zen Pharaoh says 5085. Strong here. We're in New York City. Wholly unaware. Any update on the GP7? GP7 is, they just got them. So they're supposed to have more to come because apparently they are out of stock right now, from what people tell me. I'm going to have mine soon because it's on. It was sent last week. So it was shipped to me last week. So at some point, I'm going to get one. Hopefully this week, I might have it to review. So we're going to check it out. Joe, I'm a newbie at Shortwave Radio. I'm interested in listening to utility stations. Is there any special places I can find them? Also, can you recommend any books I can read to learn more about it? Look, the internet is pretty much all the place in all the spots that you will you'll find everything you need on the internet. There really ain't many books or anything that I can recommend, except maybe an ebook, which is made by Gail Van Horn. If you don't mind reading books over your computer or tablet or whatever, Gail Van Horn on Amazon, you can purchase a book that's called and I'm going to show you the actual book here. So it's the Gail Van Horn's Global Radio Guide. This one is a summer 2021 edition. Expect to have a winter edition soon. It's not very expensive. And if you're interested in utilities, actually, it contains one thing that's really nice. If I go a little further here. So it contains a list of all. So it contains a list of shortwave broadcasts, but it also contains a list of utility signals by frequency. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and there's a lot of stuff for newbies and a hobby at the same time. So, for example, here this is the utility type listing, and it's very, 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 very nice and inexpensive. But in terms of paper books, we're not much there. As for where to listen for utility signals, the utility signals, just think about it as if you know where the amateur bands are, if you know where the international broadcast bands are, everything else pretty much in there out of these bands is utility. You have to tune slowly. You have to tune regularly, and you'll hear some stuff. You'll hear a lot of stuff. Utility does still contain quite a lot of signals. So, it's a question of patience and tuning, honestly. So at least you got a Sony 7600 Kelvin. Better than, not having anything. And it's actually good radio, anyways. Tim Mitchell, South Central, Wyoming. Wyoming. WI is Wyoming. No, it's not. It's Wisconsin. Sorry. Oh, man. Sometimes some of these, especially from the states that I don't see all the time. Wisconsin. Could you discuss when to use narrow and wide band on my KA1103? Usually, you will want to, if put it simply, when you tune around in search of signals, keep the radio in narrow because it helps you pinpoint the exact frequency of a transmission. So if you're searching for some international broadcasting bands, for example, by having the narrow position, you can easily pinpoint, oh, it's on that frequency. Because if it's too wide, sometimes you can be, you're not sure and you can be off in frequency. And then you ask someone and says, what's on, 15245? But in reality, it's on 15240. It's just that it's so wide now that you're off and you still hear it. So when searching for signals, search in the narrow position. That will avoid the frequency errors that you can have. For the use of the narrow position, two things. You'll use the narrow position, like I said, for tuning, but you'll also use the narrow position if, for example, you are in a international broadcast band and stations are really close together. So you have some spurs or some interference from that station being just 5 kilohertz above or below. And that means by using the narrow position, you're actually going to be able to focus a little more on that signal and avoid some of the interference on each side. And of course, in single sideband, if you tune single sideband signals, you should always be in the narrow position for single sideband signals for tuning around. So hopefully this is the going to really help you in understanding a little more of how to use the different modes. What else do we have? K6 says, I can lose friends for trivial things too. I don't do FT8, but when said that it is great for people who like digital, I got hate and lost some friends. We talk about it regularly. The viewpoints, I always say the viewpoints of some hams is like crazy. It's like, oh, FT8 is, when I hear FT8 is killing the ham hobby, it's like, yeah, no, it's not. Okay. It's actually probably improving it in some way because people that weren't able to really DX and have contacts with really, with stations all over the world that easily, now they can do it with a modest equipment. And no, it's not killing the hobby. It's, I don't get, it's the same war when CW was removed from the exam. Oh well, look at that. I've learned the hard way with CW Morse code to get my ticket, and now they're removing that. I can't understand. These people are going to be ignorant, and it's like, hey, you want to have people in your hobby? I'm sorry, but in 2021, we have to make it as simple as possible because you ain't going to get people learning Morse code. Okay, somebody might be interested in amateur radio, but you put that Morse code in the face, it's like, no, okay, not interested. I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to learn because Morse code is like learning a language. It's like, no, I'm not going to learn that. We have to make it simple. Not dumb simple, but simple. That's the way it is now. Yeah, I know. 40 years ago, you learned Morse code to get your ticket. That's life. That's the way things go. Okay. And maybe if Morse code was not a requirement 40 years ago, there would have been 10 times more hams on the bands. Because I can tell you, there are a lot of people that never became hams for the simple fact that Morse code prevented them from getting their ticket. And so that meant only the real ham tough guys that really wanted to be there got there. Um, we don't want to dumb down the hobby, but we don't want to have, we don't want to block people from being in the hobby either. And there's kind of a compromise. But man, there are some hams out there that are so like stubborn. Well, that is killing off this and that is killing off that. And it's like, yeah, please. Okay, everybody just um you know needs their thing and they like their thing in the hobby, and that is it. you know Calvin, I have too many, Joe. That's the problem. They don't all get used often enough. Well, imagine here. I have to cycle through the radios because, some of them will not be working for such a long time. It's like, Edwin remembers RTTY in the 80s. Yeah, well, there's still some stuff out there. There's Navtex transmissions you can still decode. Heard Argentina the other day. And there's still some RTTY stuff in the amateur bands also. Bob Knox says, I asked you if you had Jupiter MPT 7100 because I had one about 10 years ago. Sold it on eBay, UK to Canada. Maybe, it could have been me. Who knows? Calvin says, Shortwave Listening for Beginners by Anita Louise McCormick was a good book for shortwave. I thought it helped. Now, the Gail Van Horen one is very, very nice, though. If you don't mind an electronic book. Zenfaro says, one trick worth mentioning with modern radios, which usually have high accuracy tuning, you can listen to AM signals in SSB mode for cases where one sideband has interference. Yep, absolutely. Barry says, big signal from Voice of Vietnam on 11885. 11885. I'm going to check 11885 here. So I don't have anything here on 11885. And so just going to check what's on 11885 on the schedules. So at this time, we're at 23 UT. 23 UT. Vietnam isn't there at 23 UT. There's the PBS China station there. And there's the CNR1 jammer. So what you're listening to is not Vietnam, actually. You're probably hearing the China National Radio 1 jammer, Barry, because they're on until 0 UT. They're jamming some other station, probably. Because Voice of Vietnam stops at 22 UTC, and now we're at 23. So it's probably CNR1 that you're hearing. Still nice, still from China. Kimberly, I learned more about amateur radio after I became a ham than when I was studying for each level, which is the case for a lot of people, honestly, Kimberly. $11,880. Do I have something here? Nope, nothing on 11,880 here. Yeah, there's something on 11,880, actually. Too noisy to make out, but there's something on 11,880. John Beckham, do you ever get up to Nova Scotia? As I have flown over that area, and from the sky, it looks beautiful. No, I've never been there. This is something I would like to do. I've eastward here, Canada. I've been up to New Brunswick, and that's it. Westward, I've never been past Ontario, so I need to go through um, a seeing Canada a little more, for sure. Female with an accent speaking English, 11880. 11880 is Radio Havana, Cuba. You're hearing Cuba, so it's not New Zealand. Nope. Radio Havana, Cuba is what you're listening to. They're on from 23 to 24 UTC in English, and that would make sense. English. That is Radio Havana, Cuba. Rufus, I hear conversations about radio on different meter bands. I have a hard time converting this to frequency, and I have been listening to since the 80s. Is there an easy way to convert? Remember one simple equation. If you can remember 300 divided by the frequency in megahertz, or 300,000 divided by the frequency in kilohertz, it gives you the meter band immediately. The other thing is, you can maybe go on the internet. They have charts. Remember that meter band is always smaller as you go up in frequency. So if you're wondering, they talked about moving from 49 meter band to 25 meter band. You know that 25 meter band, it's higher in frequency, because as the meter band gets smaller, you're going up. But either you get a chart, you can look for a meter band chart on the on the internet. I'm sure that there are some. Just search for HF meter band charts, and you'll see the amateur band meter band charts and the international broadcast band meter band charts. It'll be easier maybe to pinpoint. You know, they say 20 meters. Oh, 14 megahertz. You know, I'm on 10 meters. Oh, 28 megahertz. International broadcasters on 25 meters. Oh, 11 megahertz. Or else, remember 300,000 divided by the frequency in kilohertz. And that gives you an immediate meter band for what you're listening to. Yeah, shortwave info or short-wave.info isn't as accurate as EIBI space most of the time. To Brook Tim, what are you listening? What SDR are you using? You need to tell us what SDR you're using. Because if you're using a cheap SDR, RTL SDR, the cheapest RTL SDR does not get shortwave at all. So we need to know what SDR you're using in order to answer the question. Take care, Gary24 fan. Darren Rogers, I agree about Gail Van Horn. Gail and her husband Larry Van Horn. We're all still are one of the best sources for monitoring military communications on the shortwave bands. Rufus says, thanks, Joel. I get the concept, but the 300 equation helps. Yeah. 300 divided by megahertz, 300,000 divided by kilohertz. And you get your meter band. Harold says, I learned Morse code after I was a ham for 8 years ago because I was interested in Morse, but must admit I am not using that very much today. So and it prevented a lot of people from getting into the handbands. We got at some point put make it as easy as possible. So Thomas Olson, nice to have you here. Take care, Tom DX, sir. Stay safe. Have a good night. What else do we have? So, yeah, that was Cuba on 11880. And what else do we have? Let me check. I want to check Mali 5995. There's Cuba in English. Not Cuba, China. Is it in English? Let me just see what stations could be interesting to check here. So 5990, I think is CRI from Cuba. Oops, I just kicked the camera. I do that from time to time. Let me check what else here. Let me just check here. What's that? We have HCJB. Not very strong, but it's there. 6050 kilohertz, 49 meters. 49-meter band is rather quiet. 395. Anything interesting on the bands? Some music on 9395 WRMI. That's coming in quite strong. Yeah, that's because I believe that on the new elect, you need to put an offset in the settings. You need to have, so let me just check out here. Smarty new elect. I'll just check that thing, specifications here. Okay, so yeah, that's an RTL SDR. That's an RTL SDR. What you need to know in there, there's an offset to add to get there's a setting you need to get. I don't know how much you paid. If it's the one I see here, 30. There's one here, 34 US. Yeah, you need to have the proper offset and the proper setting for shortwave to be enabled. So it's either you have shortwave when that offset is there, and you have VHF, UHF capability when you remove that offset. You need to search more on that subject. But honestly, that's why I always say to people, get an SDR player SP1A. There's no fussing around, no offsets, no weird drivers, nothing out of the ordinary. It just works out of the box. That's why I always say the RSP1A is the best starter SDR, because you just don't, have that um, that fussing going around. But the search, because I don't have that, so I don't know what's the offset and how it's set up. But if you search on Google, you will find groups that will talk about it, and there you'll see what the settings are so that it actually gets your shortwave reception. It's just that you need to know what setting to add. It's like the RTL is the RV3, where you have to put it in quadrature. I don't remember what's the setting exactly to get shortwave going um, before, or else it doesn't work. So you'll have to find that setting and try to, Google your SDR and how to get shortwave, and it's going to explain how it works. These have that's the problem with these devices, these SDRs, that they're a little complex because you have to know what setting to set for listening to specific, especially the shortwave bands. So that's why I kind of never talk about those. And almost all the time, I always say, look, get an SDR player RSP1A. It's the only one that's zero fuss, zero problems, and it just works everywhere, and it's great. So search for it. Probably find the information online as to what offset or what setting you need to add or change so that the shortwave bands actually start working for tuning around. Because it seems to be very similar to an RTL as the RV3. So it could be like in the software, it could be just turning on quadrature sampling or something like that, and then you start tuning the shortwave bands. What else do we have? Kimberly says the Boy Scout Radio Merit Badge should get them the technician class license. There's a lot of work that goes into earning that badge. Yeah, I look at how it works for the license here with the amateur course I'm following. Honestly, you know, there are things in there that should be changed or made, differently. And yeah, I agree that probably they should. Anything else? Anything else? Mike Hill, greetings from Northwest Arkansas. Can I hear the buzzer in 465? Let's check it out. I haven't tried the buzzer in a while. 4625. Upper sideband. Nope, can't really say I hear anything that it. I haven't heard the buzzer in a while, in quite a long time. And this is the time of the year where I should actually hear the buzzer at some point. Bob Knox, RSP1A is the best. Is a beast. I have one. Absolutely. And it's easy to set up. That's the fun thing about the RSP1A. So, hey guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 38 minutes. I have a chicken pot pie to cook, and I'm going to take it easy. I will be listening to Shortwave tonight, and we'll be, of course, posting anything interesting in the Facebook group. And hopefully you enjoyed the show today. And we'll be back Wednesday now with another show. Wednesday at 0 UTC. Well, it's Thursday 0 UTC. Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And hope that you enjoy and that you'll be back on the next show. And don't forget, next Saturday is going to be Halloween. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. So stay safe, everybody. Take care. And see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.